And good evening from the underbelly here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. Ben Bobek and Tyler Gallo here for Big Train TV on the Gregorio's Trattoria pregame show. Tyler, we're back here at Silver Spring-Takoma as the Big Train look to get their 15th win of the season in style, taking on the T-Bolts. They got their 14th last night with a big win over Alexandria, down in Alexandria for the first time this season.
Right, it was a great game, you know. In their last 10, they're 9-1, and they're just rolling on all cylinders. And last night that continued. It was a bit of a low offensive night. We saw a home run from the other side as well. But Big Train held on to win. Jesse Barron with a lockdown save, 2 lockdown innings from their setup man, Matt Howitt. And then, of course, Jesse Barron came in and locked down. That's those 2 innings there. But I'm expecting more of the same in this game against the last place Silver Spring-Takoma T-Bolts. They're 4-10, and they're just falling out of it in every sense of the word.
As you said, the Big Train coming in at 14-2, T-Bolts at 4-10. Last time these two teams met, it was a mercy rule shortened game back at Povich Field. Tonight, looking to do the same, the Big Train will send Luke Baker out of Jacksonville to the mound.
Yeah, and ever since that first exhibition game, the T-Bolts have just had no answer on the pitching side for the Big Train. But tonight, Luke Baker starts against the T-Bolts for the second time this season in Silver Spring, and he's going to look to continue his solid start to the season. He's been everything that Coach Sell could probably ask for out on the mound. He's a long lefty. He works pretty well, and he just is one of those quick workers out there on the staff, and I'm looking for him to have another solid start tonight.
Absolutely. On the other side, taking the bump for Silver Spring-Takoma will be Joe Sarich, who we've seen a couple times.
Yeah, we have seen Joe Sarich a couple times, and when he's come in, he's done pretty solid against his team. He has a few runs, but looking to just not do that tonight and have a solid start, maybe 3 or 4 innings. I don't expect him going more than that.
Like we said, last time these two teams met at Povich Field, the Big Train offense exploded early on. Are you expecting something similar? Who are your hitters to watch tonight?
So tonight, last night it was a big game, but I think in the leadoff spot, Keith Torres is going to be my player to watch tonight. Thrust into the leadoff spot for the first time this season, and I think he's going to just do everything he can to get on base like he's done all year long. Over 600 on base percentage this season, so he's got to be doing something right. And I think watch out for him to set the tone early.
Absolutely. I'm going to go the other end. I'm going to go the 9-hole hitter tonight, making his Big Train debut behind the dish. Dylan Hadfield, rising freshman next season. What can he do? What can he bring to that 9-hole spot that Keith Torres has been so efficient at so far?
Well, he's probably got the memo that to take pitches, take ones that spit on ones that won't be in the zone, and just run. I mean, that's really the only thing that you got to watch out for this team, and the catchers have been running. You don't think of catchers necessarily running all the time, but I think Dylan Hatfield is going to make an impression in a big way tonight.
Final thoughts on this one before we wrap up the Gregorio's Trattoria pregame show and get you set for first pitch here in Silver Spring.
No Saturday scaries here today for the Big Train. I think they rolled over the T-Bolts in this one.
Absolutely. So one more time, Tyler Gallo, Ben Bobek. We'll see you for now. First pitch between the T-Bolts and the Big Train coming up right here on Big Train TV.
After winning 9 of their last 10 games and going 14-2 to start the season, the Big Train come up from a big win in Alexandria 5-2 to Silver Spring, a place where they've had some good games recently, take on the T-Bolts and looking for another win, stretch their total to 15 on the season. Hello everyone, Tyler Gallo and Ben Bobek here on Big Train TV, and a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. We're here at Montgomery Blair Stadium for another beautiful evening of baseball. The Big Train take on the T-Bolts, a team they've seen quite a bit early on this season, and you know it's going to be a good matchup regardless. Ben, what are you looking forward to in today's game?
Yeah, honestly, like you said, Big Train looking to keep rolling. They've been on a little bit of a hot streak so far. And a little bit of a couple changes in the lineup, couple alterations, especially defensively. Some guys in places we haven't necessarily seen. Some questions going to be answered tonight for Sal Colangelo as the Big Train look for their 6th consecutive win. Like you said, 9 out of 10 coming in.
Right, and speaking of those changes, Grant Knipp gets his first start of the season at first base. He's been behind the plate and DH this year, but he'll be playing at first base, one of the corner infield positions. And then, of course, Dylan Hatfield gets his first appearance of the season, the first start. So we'll take you over the pitching matchup tonight. The Big Train will send Luke Baker to the mound, a guy that has pitched here in Silver Spring a couple of times already and pitched pretty well his last time out. And then, of course, he's opposed by Joe Sarich, who we've seen out of the bullpen here for the T-Bolts, but he's going to get the start tonight and look to mow down the Big Train order. And leading off tonight, Keith Torres for the first time this season.
Yeah, last time we saw Luke Baker, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here as Torres steps in, but last time we saw Baker, 4 really strong innings in that doubleheader against Alexandria. Just 1 run and 1 hit, and he got the win in that one.
So Torres steps in here, leading off for the first time this season, spent the majority of the year in the 9-hole. He'll look to set the tone with his above 600 OBP this season, as here's the first pitch from Sarich's bounce towards short, and we're underway as the fire from Miller to first is in time for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Joe Sarich. 7:04 first pitch here at Montgomery Blair Stadium.
85 degrees, cloudy here at Blair. Beautiful day for baseball regardless.
Absolutely.
Slight increase in humidity from the last couple games, but nice and shady here under the bleachers.
So here's Kyle Velazquez. Yes, we are in the underbelly. Velazquez, the St. Mary's Gale, will stand in here, the designated hitter tonight. Looking to continue his pretty solid stretch at the plate. He's been up and down as he takes one inside and low, and it's ball 1. So Sarich, we've seen him work out of the bullpen, but getting the start tonight. I believe this is his first or second start of the season as he delivers. He's got that glove waggle that he flips it out when he starts. So we'll see as Velazquez fouls that one off his foot, and he's going to walk that off a little bit.
Yeah, blustery night here in Silver Spring area. Wind blowing in pretty strong from behind the Big Train dugout, basically from third to first base, the path. Actually, no, it's switched since I last checked. It's kind of blowing in from right field now.
So let's go over the T-Bolts defense, left to right, Cordell, Calderon, and Barnett in the outfield. Then in the infield, right to left, Dunleavy, Orr, Oxier, Miller, and Palmero behind the plate. And, of course, Joe Sarich on the mound. We'll get to the Big Train batting order in just a second as Kyle Velazquez will take his pitch. Here's the delivery. And it bounces, and it's 2-1. So up and down in the Big Train order, Torres, Velazquez, Thomas Pepe, Alderman Knipp, Doyle, Martin, and Hatfield rounds out the order. And, of course, Luke Baker is on the mound. We'll go over the defense when they come up. But for now, here's the 1-1, or the 2-1 as it's outside, 3-1. And we see some firefighters beyond the left field wall, the wall behind the wall, and the foul pole watching this game. Free baseball for them as they are probably getting off work a little bit here. 3-1, swung on a missed strike 2 from Velazquez, and the count runs full.
Yeah, Sarich has been a really good piece in that bullpen for Silver Spring-Takoma. As you said, this is his first start, 4 games, 8 innings of work, and a 1.12 ERA.
So Velazquez chops that one out of play, and it's another full count. And yeah, it's been a very, very great year for Joe Sarich. That you saw that 1.12 ERA, pretty sparkling. He's 1-0. He struck out just 4 batters to 9 walks though. So Big Train looking to work some
the
counts.
command issues are gonna just give you pause when you take a look at his line.
Velazquez fights off another one, and he'll still go 3-2. And this is just a good at bat you're going to want to put up on. Take pitches, get Sarich to throw as many pitches as he can, and maybe get him out of here early. That ERA is a bit misleading as he has walked 9 guys, but they just haven't come around to score. Inherited runners come in to score, though, when he comes out of the bullpen. Right down the middle, fouled off again by Velazquez, who's putting up a great battle here. As you can see in the outfield, 325 down the left field line, 362 in left center. I believe that's or around 400 in center, maybe 380 in center. I believe we were
403 to dead
told.
center.
Yeah, 403 to dead center, 357 in right. As that bends in there for strike 3 call, and Velasquez is caught looking, and then I'll get to the last one, 315 down the right field line. So Torres grounded out to short, and Velasquez struck out looking, and now Matt Thomas, fresh off of his Offensive Player of the Week performance for the CRCBL, will stand in here. So there's his slash line over the last couple of days, 600 batting average, and on-base percentage is below it. That's because he's had a sacrifice flies. That's outside, ball 1. Home plate umpire, Eric Lautenschlager. We saw him last night in our Alexandria.
Down at first base, rotating behind the dish today.
Traveling with the team. So here's the 1-0. That's outside and called a strike, and it's 1-1. Thomas has been the bellwether in the order, the linchpin, whatever you want to call him. He's been just hitting, and not stopping. There's a breaking ball low and taken for a strike, and it's 1-2. Thomas maybe didn't agree with that one, as he'll step out and fix the batting gloves. Nomar Garcia Parras flashes a smile, and here's the 1-2. Offering from Joe Sarich, who's mowed down the first 2 batters in order. This is a breaking ball line to short, and it's a second and an easy catch there for Jacob Orr, and it's a 1-2-3 opening inning for Joe Sarich here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. We'll head to the bottom half with the T-Bolts due up. Oxier, Rice, and Palmero will be back here on Big Train TV for that. Out of Maryland Eastern Shore, Dylan Oxier, the leadoff hitter for the T-Bolts, will stand in here against Luke Baker, and we'll take a quick look at his stats this season, and he's been pretty solid. 3 starts, 4.5 ERA, 12 innings. He struck out 8 batters to 6 and just allowed 6 runs, and a 1.08 whip and a 220 batting average against. So he's been getting a bit unlucky this year with runs coming across the score, but he's been on, and I'll draw comparisons here to Max Fried in the major leagues. Very similar delivery and very similar outlook. Tall lefty, lean lefty. As here's the first pitch from Baker. It's high ball 1 to Oxier. Oxier we've seen in the leadoff spot several times when the T-Bolts come to town or when they are here at home. When they came to Povich Field the first time last time, and were mercy ruled promptly. It's fouled back into the screen. It's 1-1. We'll see who the next guy out of the pen is. You think Baker probably goes 4 or 5 innings tonight, as he has been in almost every start. The long lefty gets the sign from Hatfield, who's getting his first start of the season, first appearance of the season. Seen him here. Virginia Tech commit, as that's outside, and it's 2-1. Hatfield, the latest arrival to this team.
Yeah, one of the last guys we're waiting on who makes his Big Train debut tonight. Chris Buchholz, still rehabbing a slight knock.
There's outside
last
strike.
one on the roster to not make his debut for this team.
Yeah, right. And we saw Catlett make his, and maybe we'll see Buchholz later in July towards the end of the season, but wish him all the best in his recovery at the moment. It's 2-2 to Oxier. Here's pitch. It's low, and it's a full count once again. So Keith Torres hit the first pitch of the game to short. Maybe he wanted to take a couple, but we'll see what Baker can do here with a full count offering. home of the
Not
Blair Blazers.
not the approach we're used to seeing from Keith Torres.
As here's the pitch, hit high and deep to center field. Going across is the center fielder Thomas, and he'll make the play on the run for the first out. That ball he almost collided with Alderman and right. So Alderman ran over for that.
Yeah, that would be a little bit more painful for Thomas than Alderman, I think.
It's a loud F8 to lead things off, and here's Stephen Rice.
I don't think anybody wants to collide with Kemp Alderman out there.
Right, out of the D2 national champion Salisbury.
Like running into a brick wall.
Absolutely. Kemp the brick wall as there's a ball that pours in there, but it's a ball outside, and it's 1-0. So a loud out number 1 for the T-Bolts. Dylan Oxier flew out to center, and a nice running grab from Matt Thomas. Not quite exclamation point worthy. So there's fouled off and into the T-Bolts bullpen, heads up.
Couple arms just relaxing in the first inning. Had to hit the deck real quick. Some smiles from Palmera on deck.
Connor Palmera out of the University of Hawaii is on deck. Here's the 1-1. Bounced foul, and it'll be 1-2.
First thing you notice about Hatfield in the backstop position for the first time tonight, got this very low split stance, right? Not going with the traditional squat. Gets that left leg all the way down with the foot and the knee touching the dirt.
And he has his hair dyed blonde.
Split all the way out.
Has his hair dyed blonde as well. Here's the 1-2. Roped up the middle, and it's going to go over the leaping try of Martin at second, and it's going to get in there for a base hit. So Salisbury's board. And one thing I just noticed about the jerseys is I believe they have their school. Well, I thought they had their school on them, but that's actually a sponsor. It looked exactly like Hawaii's logo on the shoulder patch.
It's Koa.
It's Koa.
It is modeled. I can tell you for sure. It is modeled after the Hawaii logo because it's like this. I don't. There's some sort of like connection.
Well, yeah, they're from the same place probably. Here's the first pitch, a breaking ball low, and it's 1-0.
Koa is like a local like youth sports organization.
Yeah,
here.
probably based out of, or their founder is from Hawaii.
Something like that.
Which could make sense.
There's some connection in terms of like the Polynesian style.
Nonetheless, there goes the no-hitter as Stephen Rice, the designated hitter, is aboard. The catcher Connor Palmera hits one high and deep to left field, but that's going to go way out of play. For the first strike, 1-1 is way into the bullpen and out onto
University Boulevard.
Yeah, University Boulevard.
Heads up in the traffic.
A long fly ball. We saw Palmera get a hold of one the last time we were here, hit it deep, just not out.
Yeah, and that first one from Oxier was hit pretty well as well. Straight to the 357 sign in right center.
There goes the runner Rice. That's way outside into the backstop, and Rice can just trot in second base. So he'll get the stolen base. It is a wild pitch, but don't need to score it as a wild pitch as he was already going.
Yeah, tough pitch there from Baker. I think he
maybe got a bit distracted, you think?
Yeah, either out of the side of his eye or just subconsciously knew that Rice was going and just held that ball a little bit too long. Release point came all the way down, and that bounced way behind Palmera for ball 2.
Gets his 2-1 sign here from Hatfield. As that is crushed to left field. Going back is the left fielder, Doyle, at the wall. That ball is gone. Goodbye. Connor Palmera loses this one, and the T-Bolts are flush to a 2-0 lead here right away. What a shot off the bat of Palmera. He destroyed that ball right by the fire station.
Indeed, that thing flew like a flash of thunder off the crack of Palmera's bat. That thing was crushed to left center field all the way on top of that pitch. And you have to wonder, after throwing it way behind Palmera, losing his release point a little bit, how Luke Baker is going to adjust and work his way back into this one against Tommy Dunleavy, the first baseman.
So generating a lot of loud contact here in the first inning is Luke Baker, and a lot of solid contact, not missing too many bats, as it's quickly 1-0 to Tommy Dunleavy. So there's a strike, and it's 1-1. Caught the inside portion of the plate, but that ball was roped. I mean, that one just narrowly avoided the top of the fence. He hit it on a line to left field. Doyle couldn't even get a chance at it, as that fence is pretty high. Here's the 1-1. It's inside, and it's 2-1. But, yeah, that ball just narrowly avoided being a extra base hit.
Yeah, my guess would be 10-foot-high fence out there all the way around.
Right, and you also got to watch out for
10 by 10 squares.
Watch out for the good old fire station back there. Don't want to break anything. So that's swung on and fouled towards the big train dugout, and it's 2-2. Love to see someone hit the roof of that. That's probably
there's like a door there in all the way towards left center. I wonder if somebody's going to come out there maybe looking for a souvenir.
As that is reached for on the outside half and fouled behind home plate, and it's 2-2. You would think there's somebody that could reach the roof, though, of that, because that's maybe a solid 400 feet,
I think
410.
if you gave a hanging curveball to Kemp Alderman or a really juicy fastball,
yeah,
he probably could.
So 2-2 offering to Dunleavy. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3 in the dirt, and no chance to run it down. So there's a strikeout for Luke Baker as he gets his second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the Millersville member, student athlete, whatever you want to call it, Darren Miller.
We are the Millers for Darren Miller, third baseman tonight.
You guys are getting paid?
From Millersville University, Darren Miller.
Miller, the third baseman, of course, like you just said. Nigel Calderon would be next, another Hawaii student athlete, as there's a ball down low, and it's 1-0. So Baker getting the swing and miss he was looking for in his first couple of batters. He's hung a couple of pitches and paid dearly for it on that home run.
Yeah, and I think, as I was saying, when Dunleavy started
That ball's hit to deep center field. Going back is Thomas, and this will be playable for him. So he settles under it and makes the catch to retire the side, but not after. Connor Palmera loses one to the left field. A deep fly ball, home run, to give the T-Bolts a 2-0 lead, and the first time the Big Train aren't leading after the first inning in a long time. We'll be back for the next half of the order. Pepe, Alderman, and Nip do up when we come back here on Big Train TV. Rocco Pepe to lead off here against Joe Sarich. Takes a strike right down the middle, and it's 0-1. Pepe, hot dog fame, has been on a torrid stretch lately. Left DC and hoping to get some more homers. He has not homered at the confines of Povich Field or any other place other than DC all season.
Anywhere besides DC. Thought maybe the close proximity, as you said last night in Alexandria, might help.
Pepe laces one into the gap, going back to the right fielder Barnett at the wall. That ball's off the top of the wall in play. Pepe, stumbling around first base, is going to have to stop and get back to first base as he nearly tripped coming around the bag, but it's a loud single to lead off the inning for Rocco Pepe, and he stays hot.
Yeah, a deep one-bagger for Rocco Pepe. Like you said, good play by Barnett to field this off the fence and get that ball back into Orr in the second base bag, hold Pepe to a one-bagger. But no outs and runner on here for big 3-3.
That roof is just beckoning for him to hit it as Sarich delivers the first pitch to him as it's grounded foul past Coach G at third base for the first strike. A very high arcing shot that Pepe hit off the wall. Nearly got over, maybe hit about halfway up the wall. So the 0-1 to Alderman.
Alderman's bat's been a little bit quiet lately.
Yes. So there's a curveball, a hanging one, and it's 0-2. That ball was something that he probably could have hammered. That was a hanging curveball in every sense of the word. And we got a great angle here behind home plate to see that. It's 0-2 with Pepe on first, and on deck is Grant Nip, the first baseman. So it's outside ball one.
First time we've seen Grant at that corner of the field this season.
1-2 now to
Utility
Alderman.
guy.
The long stance, pretty open. Swings and misses strike 3 in the dirt, and that is a strikeout for out number 1. And Grant Knipp will come up now. See if his first baseman brings him any more power, being a first baseman.
Yeah, both these guys, Alderman and Knipp, have turned into pretty good utility bats. Both have decent amount of pop, decent amount of contact as well, though Alderman hasn't been able to find it as much as of late. But, you know, he pitches, he plays corner outfield, he plays first base, he DHs. And for Knipp, he brings you that solid presence behind the plate. Solid presence apparently at first base as well.
Beautiful curveball there from Joe Sarich for the first strike. 1 out here with Pepe on first after a leadoff single. Looked him back to first base. Intimidating.
Pepe playing with him a little bit there. Took off for a second like he was going to go to second. Sarich not throwing over.
First time this team's trailed since the DC game is it's outside, ball 1. Well, it's only been 2 games, but trailed by more than 2, you'd have to go back to, I believe, Alexandria, yeah.
The first loss of the year back a week and a half ago.
As there's a big swing and a miss by Knipp, and it's 1-2. Getting to a lot of 2-strike counts is Joe Sarich, working up his strikeout totals. He's got 2 already today, and Grant Knipp stands as the third.
I think the biggest note from Coach Sal as they work towards the bottom of this order and then back to the top is take more pitches.
Right.
You know, make this guy work a little bit. He's got that effective.
As there's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and back-to-back strikeouts for Sarich to looking to get out of this quickly as Trevor Doyle's now up, the Sac State Hornet.
He's got that effective breaking ball. That one was I think a little bit of a high fastball there to get Knipp swinging.
We have a
And
much
but
better.
that breaking ball is what makes that fastball so effective. We've
Right.
seen the curve on it. We've seen the break from our unique perspective behind home plate here.
Yeah, and it looks like Jack Braley is up and moving around in the big train bullpen. Maybe Baker's short rope here is it's outside, ball 1 to Trevor Doyle. Wearing those green socks, big train socks. Of course, not Sac State, but Sac State is also green. Home of the Hornets.
Maybe didn't get the memo last night to wash his socks
By the way,
because everybody else is wearing black. Not
Quick-
to call Doyle out, but
yeah, there goes Pepe. He acted like he was about to go, but he froze. But I have a quick anecdote about Sac State. They have the smallest basketball stadium in all of NCAA. I believe it's about 1,300 people. The Hornets' Nest, it's called. You'd have
old
to
school barn, eh?
Right, you'd have to quote me on, or don't quote me on the capacity, but it is the smallest in Division I NCAA basketball.
Interesting.
So, out in Sacramento, 2-0 to Doyle. So there's a strike, and it's 2-1. We'll have to see what the capacity actually is. But it's somewhere around from 1,000 to 1,300. It was pretty low.
So enough that the Sacramento Kings could sell it out.
Right, absolutely. I wish the Kings were good. I love the Kings.
Might be tough.
So there goes Pepe. Breaking ball bends in there for a ball, and that's a high throw and into. Great job by the shortstop Oxier to cut that off and not let that allow.
Leaping play to knock that one down.
We're a bit obscured by the home plate umpire Eric Laudenschlager here, but still we're able to see that Dylan Oxier made a nice leaping play at the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore native.
Yeah, but Pepe really had a good jump there. I mean, he's been on base for 3 batters now. He's been able to time up Sarich, knows what's coming. I mean, as a starting pitcher, as a pitcher in general, you can change your motion.
Right.
You can adapt it as much, but the runner's still going to figure you out at some point. Especially, not the most lethal guy on the base paths, but Rocco knows what he's doing out there, that's for sure.
Fish Doyle, swing and a miss, strike 2, and it's a full count now. And Christian Martin, the Walmart version of Christian McCaffrey, would be next if this inning continues. Christian M. Both of them look very similar. See on our Instagram story. Trevor Doyle, a very similar batting stance to Matt Olson of the Oakland A's. Tops that one foul, and we'll do it again. Surprised to see Pepe not in motion on that.
I think he was going.
He'll probably,
Just
and he
to-
probably
just to
will.
work.
Yeah.
He's halfway to the third base bag. The green socks are bugging me a little bit, not going to lie.
Well,
A little confused here.
maybe he's trying to switch things up a little. Maybe the superstitious guy, maybe they're helping him out.
Maybe.
Here's the payoff pitch. Doyle bounces another one foul, and they'll do it one more time. Pepe's getting his steps in over there at second base.
He also, I believe he's rocking the Sacramento State baseball pants because the standard issue Big Train pants don't have that green piping on the side.
Well, and there's also a big hole in his pants.
Oh, there is. Wow, I didn't even notice that.
They haven't been at home.
What is with this team and ripping pants?
They haven't been home in a couple of days, so maybe they all happened out there. Doyle fouls it over the Big Train dugout and off the top of it.
It's a good thing he's not going commando. That's all I got to say.
Don't worry,
he's right up there with Max Scherzer and Sergio Romo in that category.
Max Scherzer toying around with those umpires. No sticky stuff here in the CRCBL. Doyle waiting again for the payoff offering from Joe Sarich, who looks back. Pepe once more, who's donning the mouthpiece there at second base. I don't know what that is. Maybe it keeps you from gritting your teeth or biting down. As Doyle laces one into center field, that may fall in. Coming on as a center fielder, he can't get there, and it's going to go all the way back to the wall. Heading for second is Doyle. Pepe's in to score, and it's a stand-up double for Trevor Doyle to give this cut this lead in half.
Yeah, Doyle, very nice base knock there on the full count. His 6th RBI of the year. Like you said, maybe just trying to keep together what he was able to put up last night. Decent night for him. 1 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch as well. Came around to score, and now gets the first RBI of this game for the Big Train to have the lead.
Diving for that one was Nigel Calderon, but unable to make the play. And now here's Christian Martin, the other Virginia Tech commit. He takes a strike right down the middle, and it's 0-1. We haven't seen too much of Martin here. We've seen him come off the bench a little bit, but getting a rare start here through his stay as a Big Train. There's a great breaking ball from Sarich, and it's quickly 0-2. On deck, we'll see potentially the first at-bat of the season for Dylan Hatfield.
And just the 2nd extra base hit of the year for Doyle. And it comes in a very timely spot to pick up his starting pitcher, Luke Baker.
Absolutely. 2-1 the score. Good take there. Good spit on that ball by Christian Martin. Yeah, and it's 1-2.
It's a really tough pitch to lay off of from Sarich. A little bit of a slider there, breaking all the way down to the outside.
Yeah, but now that he set him up outside, he can come inside and maybe get him here. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 is
goes back outside.
Not held onto.
I think he tipped it.
Yeah, they'll say it was a foul ball as the entirety of the T-Bolts started to trot in from their defensive positions, but instead we'll do it again. New life for Christian Martin.
Yeah, I think Nigel Calderon was all the way towards the infield dirt by the time he realized it was a foul tip.
Big Train will be back in action tomorrow night at home at Povich Field for the last before a day off. Used to be 2 days off, but now it's back to 1. Against the DC Grays, who come to Povich for the first time. Checker on the runner goes, and it goes into center field, but Doyle stays at second base. Yeah, DC coming to Povich Field for the first time. 1 of 3 times they'll come to Povich this year. And this is the last time we will travel to Silver Spring.
Yeah. So I believe the way it kind of works is most teams play each other 8 times.
7. I think it's 7.
Is it 7?
It seems to be 7 or 6, but I think it's you split 4-3 for other ways. That's hit to the opposite field. Looks back Pepe Doyle for no reason, and there's an out at first base. Nice play by the third baseman Darren Miller to retire the side, but not after. The Big Train scratch a run back on a double by Trevor Doyle. Luke Baker looks like he is done, or yeah, I believe Luke Baker's night is done. And oh nope, he's back out to the mound. Saw a couple guys trotting in from the bullpen. Luke Baker returns to the mound when we come back here on Big Train TV. Luke Baker again out here on the mound for his second inning of work, and he'll do battle with Nigel Calderon, who had a ball elude his glove in the last defensive inning. 2 runs on the strength of a Connor Palmera home run for the T-Bolts. Have their lead up to 1 right now as the big train were doing pretty well to scratch one back last inning on the double by Doyle. That's bunted up in front of home plate. Going to be a tough play for Baker. Calderon can fly, but he gets there in time for the first out.
Yeah, really great play by Luke Baker. You know, not rushing it, not trying to overcharge it and do any sort of fancy spin. He took his time. He got to the right side of the ball, picked it up, smoothly fired over, and a good snag there by Grant Knipp at first.
And he doesn't do the Marcus Stroman points to the gold label on his glove saying that's gold.
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. We'll see who the awards are after the season, but for now, there's a strike to the batter Brian Cordell, the left fielder. No relation to Ryan Cordell, former Major League Baseball player for the New York Mets and Chicago White Sox. More importantly, the White Sox.
Never would have known.
There's another strike, and it's quickly 0-2. 2 strikes poured in there from Luke Baker. Great angle here, so we can see everything as opposed to other places where we're obscured a little bit.
I did enjoy Frank Mann Field down in Alexandria.
Oh, yeah. That's probably our best setup we've had besides this one on the road. We got to sit in a press box.
What a concept.
What a concept. They have a press box here. We probably very well could sit up there, but they have a lot of game day personnel up there. So no need for us to go up there. We're under the bleachers instead, as it's outside, and it's 2-2. Good setup pitch there for Luke Baker. Yeah, and see, I think that's Jack Braley still up in the bullpen. Throwing pretty hard, so maybe 2 innings for Baker. We'll have to see. And that's right down the middle. Strike 3 called. A punch out for Luke Baker, his second of the night. And now that'll bring up Devin Barnett.
Yeah, great pitch there from Baker, and really great start to this inning. Got the quick ground out from Calderon. Now strikes out Cordell to bring up Barnett, who has been struggling a little bit at the plate this year. Just a 105 average in 19 at-bats. Only 2 hits on the year. Has drawn 3 walks, though.
Baker working quickly to Barnett. First pitch is a strike, and it's 0-1.
And it's a lot of balls in play for Barnett, so
Right.
maybe a lack of luck in those balls. I mean, only 8 strikeouts in those 19 at-bats.
Yeah, running into some good defense at the plate, and when you're going bad, that's really how it always happens for you. Baker downing 44.
Quattro.
East-West Bowl fame.
Exactly.
1-2, one of the best videos of all time. Barnett, did he go around? He did not. Well, they'll check down, and he did. So leave that strike 2 on Devin Barnett, and that'll make it a 2-2 count, or 1-2. Here's a 2-2 offering. Popped high and out of play down the left field line and way out of there, maybe onto University Boulevard. You know what's funny is that is the street that Robert Morris University is also on.
Makes sense,
Not this one,
because
though.
Robert Morris is a university.
Correct. I don't think there's University Boulevard in Pitt, though, is there? It's fouled back by Barnett.
There's
Probably university or college.
there's University Street,
Yeah.
I think.
Because Delaware has College Street or College Avenue.
It's not like a main byway or anything.
Right.
But there's something.
Many of my days have been spent on North and South College Ave at Delaware, just driving down to whether it be hockey practice, hockey game, football game, or work. 2-2 offering once more to Barnett. Take it for a ball, and the count runs full. Or he walked him.
It was full.
So ball 4, the first walk issued of the night by Luke Baker, and that'll bring up Jacob Orr with a runner on. Orr we've seen several times. He's been a phantom ball player to us, though. I don't think he's gotten too many plate appearances. They always say he's on the mound, but I don't think he's pitched.
Yeah, so there was that whole thing last time where we thought it was Orr on the mound, but it was really our good friend of the show, Sean Culkin.
Yeah, 1-0.
16 and 18 in these Silver Spring-Takoma uniforms look pretty similar.
I mean, all these uniforms of the opposing teams besides the Alexandria Aces look similar. And we learned something about the Aces logo yesterday after the game that we'll bring up again when we play them again.
Save that for next Thursday when we're back down there at Frank Mann Field.
That's hit up the middle for a base hit, and Orr is aboard, and there's 2 on for the leadoff hitter, Dylan Oxier. Good piece of hitting there from Jacob Orr.
Yeah, Oxier this time with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, looking to give one a ride like he did last time, except this time out of an inning. Out of a fielder's glove, I mean.
Oxier got a hold of one his last time up, but flew out. So we'll see who is. There's a couple of guys are up in the bullpen. I don't think any of them are throwing. Braley was up and throwing. But we'll see some guys just get in bullpen work as there's a strike that bends in there from Luke Baker. Saw Danny Tchaikovsky up there in the bullpen. Just standing up, not doing anything. Mean mugging. Haven't seen him since they were last at Povich Field. It's a ball, and it's 1-1.
That one might have missed a little bit outside, I guess, but that looked like a really good pitch to me.
Yeah. We see a fire truck start to pull out or pull in to the fire station just beyond the left field fence.
So I'm wondering if it's like a 2-tiered garage.
Most likely. There's a high ball, and it's 2-1.
Unless it's just the inside of that station is a really big ramp. Or maybe they have like auxiliary storage for fire trucks that are being like rotated out.
Very similar field to one you'd see in backyard baseball, as we've remarked on every time we've been here. It's a big, big wall in left field.
Sunny day, and Vinny the Gooch here with you on Big Train TV.
Earl Gray for Sockers. That's roped into left field, and that's going to be caught there by left fielder Trevor Doyle to retire the side. So the T-Bolts get 2 runners on, but not able to scratch across any more runs. They still lead 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Due up for the Big Train, we have Hatfield, Torres, and Velasquez. But first, a word from our sponsors.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy-Walker syndrome. Dandy-Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot, unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Dylan Hatfield makes his first at-bat of the season here. First at-bat is a Big Train, and he promptly chops one towards third. A nice hop play there by Miller. The long throw to first is in time to get Hatfield. A phenomenal play to get that short hop by Darren Miller, and there's quickly one retired.
Yeah, a good piece of hitting there from Hatfield, trying to squeeze it between the third baseman and the foul line there, but beautiful backhand from deep in the hole. Miller fires that one across from the hot corner for out number 1.
Nolan Arenado-esque there at third base.
I would say Anthony Rendon-esque, but I don't know. I haven't heard from him in 2 years.
He went to Anaheim and just dipped. There's a ball outside of Torres. Takes a pitch this time. He grounded the first pitch to short his last time up.
Yeah, we'll see how his approach changes here. Obviously, already seen as many pitches from Saric.
Part of 2 Sac State players in this lineup as Torres Takes one inside for a strike, dropped by the catcher Palmera, but it's still 1-1. On deck is Kyle Velasquez, the St. Mary's College player, as there's a strike outside, and it's 1-2. Keith Torres, the flying Hawaiian, does not go to Hawaii, despite there being a pair of Hawaiians on the T-Bolts roster. And that one runs outside a bit for Sarich. In his third inning of work, he's worked pretty solidly, just allowed that one run and no walks to this point. The count is 2-2 to Torres. Fouls that one into the fence in front of the Big Train dugout and will be collected by Rocco Pepe. Still 2-2. Here's the pitch. That's it high into left field. Settling back for it is the left fielder Cordell. He will make the play for the second out. A very high fly ball. Had a lot of hang time, but not deep enough to stretch beyond that fence and tie up the game.
Yeah, just a
Pretty routine.
pretty routine, but really pulled there by Torres. A little bit out in front of that one. A little angsty, perhaps, trying to get some contact on it.
Yes, this is the last time we will travel to the confines of Montgomery Blair Stadium. Sarich working quickly here to Velasquez. Here's the first pitch. It's outside, and it's 1-0. His first time up, Velasquez was caught looking, and it's quickly 2-0 with Matt Thomas, the William and Mary tribesman, on deck.
College of William and Mary, another Big Train feeder school that rocks the green.
Absolutely. Roped into left field, and that's going to be caught there. A nice play by Barnett and Wright to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Big Train here in the third. The bottom half is due up for the T-Bolts, Rice, Palmera, and Dunleavy when we come back here on Big Train TV. Stephen Rice struts up to the plate, the Salisbury Seagull.
Division III College World Champion.
Yeah, I believe I said Division II earlier, my bad. Division III.
And the Seagulls, not the Seagulls, the Seagulls.
Space. This takes a cut and a miss on a high strike there from Luke Baker.
Baker just looking to settle in. Worked around a little bit of trouble last time.
Yeah, worked out of a mini jam.
First and second.
Fouled back right near us. Doink.
Heads up Dylan Spilko. We'll see if he can capture one perhaps between his face and shoulder again.
Dylan Spilko is a menace out there.
He of internet fame.
I hear it's still trending on Twitter.
I don't know. Eric Lautenschlager, a lot of sweat on his back.
Don't say that too loud as it's halved foul down the first base line.
It's not his fault, right? He's got the under padding.
Right.
But, man, it's showing. You can see the straps pretty clearly.
Big Train trail 2-1 here in the top of the third. Stephen Rice is 0-2. He hammers one down the left field line. That's going to go foul and out of play. Near the
Into-
scoreboard.
Into the shrubbery.
Into the shrubbery, like I said, for Grant Nipp's home run at Povich.
He of the Knights who say, "Nee."
Yeah, you said that after he homered.
Yeah, because you said shrubbery. It's like word association.
Correct. Monty Python as that's grounded past the outstretched glove of Torres into left field. And it's a leadoff single for Stephen Rice. So that'll bring up Connor Palmiere, and his last time up, he sent one up. Deep left field and gone for a 2-run shot. That is the difference in this game thus far.
Signs being relayed in from assistant coach Corey Allgood.
It's all good.
It's all good, man.
So we'll see if he relies on his breaking stuff more in this at-bat. It was a fastball right down the middle as he checks on Rice at first base. That Palmera jumped all over.
I'm going to go ahead and take a guess at the signs coming in from the third base coach. If you see that pitch again, hit it again.
If you see that, jump all over it once more. First pitch to him. Breaking ball is a strike. And now would you call that a slider or would it be a curveball? It looks like more of a slurve.
I'll tell you the next time I see it. I do know that Baker works that two-seam changeup slider rotation.
So he does, yeah. So it is a slider. It looks a lot like a slurve to me. The way it sort of.
Saying it's a little bit sharper than a traditional curve.
Maybe he's
I mean,
working
slider.
on that a little bit, making it more wipeout. I think he did tell us that that's outside, and it's 1-1.
That looked like the two-seam there.
You know, from Jacksonville, notable Major League Baseball alums, the guy that I have beef with, Austin Hayes.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Austin Hayes is a great player. And then, of course, Nationals legend, Mets legend, Daniel Murphy.
NL East legend Daniel Murphy.
Of course,
runner
there
goes
goes the runners. It's fouled off.
Nearly
Nearly
a nice snag by Matt Howitt.
Yeah, Howitt, of course, pitched a lockdown 8th last night and got the hold. Turning it over to Jesse Barron, who got the save in the 9th, the game-over save. You know, you can really go.
You should just give Jesse Barron a pair of Dodger blue sport goggles.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
See what he does with them.
He was wearing some sunglasses after in the post-game interview as he takes the ball down low, and it's 2-1. But he,
Cool, calm, and collected.
you know, not wearing number 38 like I believe Eric Gagne was, but when he's in the game, it's hard. Runners are hard to come by. Got to take what you get. You know, maybe he's the new closer. We haven't heard from Ryan Metz in a little bit. You know, he is at a job right now as there goes Rice down to second base on the pass ball from Hatfield. Metz, yeah, I believe Metz is working somewhere nearby. So sometimes
Northrop Grumman, I think.
yeah.
Little
So
engineering gig.
it's not an injury trouble. It's just he can't make it. Seen a couple of that. You know, Matt Thomas, of course, has an internship.
Love to speak to those guys a little bit more. Maybe
Absolutely.
Get some
Well,
day in
Matt
their
Thomas
life.
was due to come up to the booth with us in the South County game that was rescheduled. Maybe we'll get him up when we come back to Povich. It's hard to get someone in here. There's a breaking ball, and it's
It's
half
against fire
swung
code.
right to the second baseman, Martin, and he'll make the plays that advances the runner. So a sacrifice 4-3 there for Connor Palmiera, and that'll bring up Tommy Dunleavy. I really enjoy this PA guy. He's much better than they had the last time. Tommy Dunleavy has been all over the place in these games with the big train. Hitting,
Outfield, pinch
pitching.
hitting. What can he do?
He cracks that one to short. Torres on the backhand. The long throw to first is in time to get him. What a play. As the run does come in to score, but saving a lot more than that is Keith Torres on a phenomenal play.
I'll tell you what he can't do. Beat that throw out from Keith Torres way back. In the shortstop hole. Backhanded snag. Fires over for the second out of
So
this
that
one.
goes a sacrifice for you as well.
Well, that's what it was. And it's a 3-1 lead. The most dangerous in sports, some would say.
Very glad that wasn't a base hit, I'm sure, as Luke Baker, as Darren Miller takes a ball down low that bounced. A phenomenal play. I wouldn't quite give that an exclamation point because he was quite close to it, but on the backhand, a great one. That's popped way up there. Hatfield sheds the mask and heads up. That one's back in the stands. Always got to be wary of my camera, my phone. That is up there, hopefully.
If there's a ball that manages to get fouled straight over the net and into the camera, that would be pretty cool. That's
be.
like so 1 in a million that at that point you just kind of have to like, yeah, okay.
Luckily, I think I still have warranty on it. Got it back.
Which gets smashes more, your car mirror or your phone?
We won't talk about that as that's line in the left field trying to deke nobody on the base paths as Keith Torres is. Darren Miller is aboard with a single. And I'll bring up Nigel Calderon.
Yeah, so the kind of hard contact against Luke Baker continues. You know, this is a guy that relies on his sequencing, that relies on his ability to miss bats. He's not the hardest thrower. That fastball is going to, you know, top out around 86, 87, mid-80s. Generally, as we said, good two-seamer.
Room to grow, though. Room to improve on that. As he's
only a rising sophomore. He's got definitely a really good angle and a really good arm slot at 6'6", 215.
One of the top recruits out of Florida and one of the top left-handers in Florida. Is he
top 75 nationally coming out of F.W. Buchholz High School.
Initially committed to Ole Miss.
I wonder if there's any relation to Clay there.
Or Taylor. Former Major League pitcher for the Rockies. I'm not going to say who else he pitched for.
Yeah, I can take a guess. But as I was saying with Baker, you know, the two-seam changeup slider, it's all about sequencing. It's all about using those 3 pitches to keep the hitter on his toes, to keep him guessing about what's coming. And so far, they've been a little on top of him. They've been able to make some contact and able to put bats on balls. And Baker's bounced back in a few different spots here and there. But again, we'll just have to see what the plan is pitching-wise as we get into the later innings to come.
Yeah, you got to think it's going to be one of Everett Catlett or another Jack Braley out of the pen. We'll have to see who's first. There is someone up right now. I think that is Everett Catlett.
Looks long enough to be Catlett. I mean, a 6'7" left or a 6'6" lefty and then a 6'7" righty. It's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Jack Cohn also available out of the bullpen. Maybe we'll see him in the later innings. He tries to readjust from his last poor outing in Gaithersburg.
Yeah, that's Catlett.
Ripped down the right field side and foul. So putting up a good at-bat here is Calderon with a 1-2 count. He's fighting off some good pitches from Baker. Throwing the kitchen sink at him here. Calderon, the center fielder today out of Lanai City, Hawaii. I think I've been there.
Luckily, Catlett pretty easy to spot in that bullpen.
Yeah. It's hard to miss a 6'7" as
There's
he
the
got him
slider.
looking to strike out Calderon and end the inning. But not after another run comes across on the sacrifice ground out for Tommy Dunleavy on a great play by Torres to retire him. Big Train down 3-1 here as we head to the bottom of the 4th on Big Train TV. Due up for the Big Train? Thomas, Pepe, and Aldman when we come back. Matt Thomas will lead things off for the Big Train here as they try to scratch some more runs across on Joe Sarich, who's out for his 4th inning of work. turned together a pretty solid outing thus far. Just the 1 run allowed, a couple of strikeouts, 3 of them to be exact.
2 hits, 3 strikeouts.
Gets that breaking ball to bend
no
in there.
walks yet. I mean, that was the problem. That was the scouting report. The read on Sarich coming in, right, was a little bit of lack of control. The strikeout to walk ratio was very high.
As Thomas
or the
bounces
walk
one
to
to short.
strikeout ratio.
Oxier makes the play, and there's 1 down quickly. Yeah, I mean, control issues, but at times. And today, those are not rearing their ugly head.
Absolutely. So, who knows? Maybe Sarich becomes a starter from now on, and he's just more comfortable getting a clean game to start rather than coming out of the pen.
Yeah, last we saw him, he was a bulk guy out of the bullpen, but now getting starts. And turning in a pretty good one here. Rocco Pepe to
Brock
with 1 out.
Hunter has to be happy with what he's seen
Right.
so far from Sarich.
It's outside, ball 1. Pepe, 1 for 1 today with a single, and he's got a stolen base to his credit, and he came around to score. That's hit up the first base side off the end of the bat, and it's going to roll foul.
Took a long time to get
Yeah,
there.
it didn't. Well, great job by
Slow roller down the first base line.
great job by Sarich to pick that up, so potentially save that from rolling fair because Pepe would have been safe.
Yeah, at that point you had the first baseman Dunleavy coming in to charge it, overcharged it, hadn't picked it up yet, and
It's a cue shot up the first baseline.
dribbler.
8-ball corner pocket.
Bink. The shark Rocco Pepe.
1-1 to Pepe. Way outside, and it's 2-1.
I'm not very good at pool. It's
I'm
just
not
something-
either,
it's
but I
just something
figured
that-
out. I finally figured out how to shoot, so I'm a little bit better than I was before. At a terrible form, as that's right down the middle for a strike, and it's 2-2. On deck is Kemp Alderman, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Pepe, of course, 1 for 1. Long Beach State dirtbag. Here's the 1-2 offering. 2-2 offering, excuse me. Swings and misses on the outside pitch, and there's quickly 2 down here in the inning.
Yeah, beautiful pitch there from Sarich. Breaking ball just high and outside. Pepe just couldn't get around on it. A little bit on top of it, perhaps expecting a little more cheese on that one. And a well-deserved point down from Connor Palmera to his pitcher.
Really just
celebration.
no answers for Sarich through the early goings here. And we'll see how long his leash is on the mound. Big Train would love to get him off of it.
Well, as you said, only 8 innings coming into this one,
Yeah.
so he's already on track to at least increase that by 50%. We'll see what he goes.
Kemp Alderman takes a strike. Another high strike, swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. And I think he's just pressing a little bit at the plate right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Searching
Settle
for that
in,
hit.
be a little more relaxed. He knows he has the power. He's just looking for that contact right now. And for Sarich, he's already eclipsed his season mark in strikeouts in this game.
That's way outside, and no reason to swing at that for Alderman. And it can take a single to get you to get out of it. And, you know, it comes at the rarest times. The slump has just seemingly come out of nowhere. You seem to be hitting everything hard, but nothing's working as Alderman cues one up the first base side, and that's going to settle into the mitt of Dunleavy to retire the side. Big Train go 1-2-3 for the 3rd inning today as they trail by 2 as they head to the top of the 5th, or bottom of the 4th. Excuse me there. We'll see you there for that on Big Train TV when we Perhaps the tallest pitcher on this pitching staff, Everett Catlett, takes over on the mound for Luke Baker, who pitched 3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 1, and struck out 3. Pretty solid line, but he cannot possibly get a decision in this game no matter what, even if he did pitch 5 innings. He's still on the hook for a loss. The big trainer look to chase back as Brian Cordell leads off against Catlett. Catlett has 1 appearance to his name. It was in D.C., and he struck out a couple.
Yeah, just 1 inning, struck out the side in order. A really great inning for Catlett down there, and he'll be looking to bring that same sort of energy here, as there's no perhaps about it, standing at 6'7", the rising sophomore at Georgetown, the tallest head across this big train lineup.
Pumps that strike or ball in there for a ball, and it's 1-0, and certainly a sight for sore eyes to see come out of the bullpen. Guy that was dealing with a shoulder issue early on in the season and finally getting a chance to pitch. So that ball's high again. It's 2-0, and he's bringing it here with some zip. He is certainly the Randy Johnson of this pitching staff.
I think Luke Baker, considering that's his favorite player, would like
Yeah.
that, but
Catlett just a little bit taller. That's bounced up to second base. Gonna have to be a tough play for Martin, and he makes it for the first out. A nice glove turn there from Christian Martin, and there's 1 down.
yeah, great play to charge that in all the way onto the infield grass.
They finally announce Everett Catlett on the mound.
He'll celebrate his 19th birthday.
Out of Colgan High School.
Manassas.
Yeah.
Fun word to spell.
1 out here to Devin Barnett, who reached via the walk his last time up as the fastball pours outside for a ball.
Devin Barnett out of VCU. Mr. Catlett's brother, Bryce, member of the track program down there for the Rams.
1-0. Fouls it and back into the screen. And there's 1 strike. 1-1-1 out there on the board. Big Train have 1. Though, because SST has 3. They lead it 3-1, and this is, I believe, the latest they've trailed in a game all season, which is hard to believe. That wasn't a game they lost so far. I mean, pretty crazy. One of the latest times they've trailed. They did lose a couple of games this year, so I disregard what I said.
2-seamer, 4-seamer, slider, and changeup in the arsenal of Mr. Catlett.
Seeing a lot of that fastball here, maybe mixing both 2-seamers and 4-seamers in there. Barnett did not go around, and he runs the count to 3-1.
Catlett told us earlier this year when he got here that he was trying to work on that off speed the most. Like you said, a little bit of a shoulder issue. Some mechanical changes during the season limited him to working just with that fastball mostly. Relying on a little bit too much, pressing on that fastball button a little too often. So trying to work back with that changeup and slider as well, and gets it going beautifully there to get the swing and miss to send the count full.
Well, and with mechanical changes, you will see injuries from time to time as your body tries to adjust to you whipping it in a new way to the plate. And maybe that's what happened with Catlett's shoulder. Never know.
Don't want to speculate. But
obviously, no speculation allowed here, but it happens to major league pitchers.
This ain't
so
the wild, wild west. We're not looking for gold.
that's hit off of home plate, I believe, but that's going to be a tough play to get as Catlett throws it wide to first base and beautifully backed up by the second baseman, Martin. He's just a defensive wizard out there.
Yeah, just really great job by the youngster Martin to be in the right spot at the right time there. And Catlett, with that 6'7" arm angle, not as used to throwing down as short. I mean, that was probably 40 feet at the most to get to Grant Knipp, who has got some decent reach on him, but, not the most experienced first baseman you'll see.
Likely will go as an E1 there. Error on the pitcher. Barnett is aboard, and Jacob Orr stands in. He singled his last time up. Takes a strike right down the middle, and it's 0-1. See what Point Streak has to say about that one.
Point streak, not game live.
Yeah, Point Streak, not game live.
That's what it's called.
That is what it is
the game
called.
live feature of
Yes.
Point streak.
So that's tapped towards third base. Charging it is Pepe. He'll fire to first and get the short out as Barnett gets a second. So a sacrifice 5-3, and there's 2 outs.
A nice play there from Pepe defensively. Torres probably could have gotten that in the shortstop hole, but Pepe with a really great angle on it, charging over from the hot corner, scoop that up, make it 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
So here's Dylan Oxier, 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts. Flew out to center and flew out to right, or left. Look to change that here, maybe with a deep fly ball.
Barnett ruled a ruled a hit.
Okay. Did not advance either.
Tough play for Catlett to make there.
And
Very
I think
short.
he'll be happy that he doesn't get an error either. He'll take a hit against.
Probably a little bit of hometown scoring, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think as we were discussing with Alexandria's official scorer last night, in this league, that's, first of all, it's what you're going to get. Just got to be used to it there, as that one misses a little bit for ball 2.
Well, and
but it's also beneficial to both sides.
Beneficial to mostly Barnett, who has been just having a rough time at the
He
plate.
earned that hit. There's no question about it. And there's nobody that's going to say otherwise.
And he might have beaten it out had the throw been online. You never know.
He's got long legs.
He does. That's hit up the middle for a base hit, and that should score Barnett, waving him home as a third base coach, and he will come in. And the Big Train are now down 4-1 as the T-Bolts cash in another on the RBI single by Dylan Oxier.
Beautiful piece of hitting there from Oxier, sending it right back where it came from. Over the head of Martin. No chance for him there in the second base hole.
So that is an earned run on Everett Catlett's line. Oxier came into today batting .250 with a home run on the season, and now Steven Rice is up, who's singled both times he's been up. He came around to score both times, so if he's on base, that's a good sign for these guys. Breaking ball in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Catlett just trying to get that third out here. The loud contact is that hit right up the middle for a base hit. In the 4th, Big Train down 4-1.
And now the third player with an RBI for Silver Spring-Takoma tonight. Their damage has been nicely spread out. The only inning where they've had multiple runs to this point is on the Palmera 2-run home run to start off the scoring in the bottom of the 1st.
Correct. One more added last inning, and then one more added this inning. The Big Train just had no answer for Joe Sarich. Bounce to second. Christian Martin has it. The short-handed throw to first base, and that will retire the side, but not after another run is scratched across. Dylan Oxier, an RBI single to make it a 4-1 ball game. We'll head back here on Big Train TV for the top of the 5th.
But first, some kid races as we have a women's matchup tonight with light blue and red racing around from home plate the opposite ways. Blue around second base first, stepping on the bag, maybe slowing her down a little bit. Red going to be waved home by the T-Bolt staff at home plate. They're extending their arms, waiting for him as they're down the home stretch. Red's going the wrong way. Red's going the wrong way, headed to the Silver Spring-Takoma dugout instead. And blue pulls it out in spectacular fashion.
You think that's... Oh, there's another one here.
Strasburg jersey versus gray shirt. Strasburg jersey motoring around first. Gray shirt looking to the high socks for some extra speed. They're headed to second. Umpires looking on in shock. A little bit of a collision there, but Strasburg jersey looking to shake it off. Hat flying as he comes down. They're around the corner and into the home stretch. This one's going to be tight. This one's going to be a photo finish, and it's gray shirt with a spectacular win.
Your favorite moment to call, Ben, as we'll head back to break here on Big Train TV.
the other announcer.
Grant Knipp leads things off as we get to the bottom half of the order and promptly swings and misses at the first pitch from Sarich, who has had a beautiful start to this game. Just mowing down the big train almost in order. Got a run scratched across in the second, but they've had no answer. 6 consecutive batters retired by Mr. Sarich. There's another swing and a miss by Knipp, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for Silver Spring-Takoma in attacking the big train so far has been limiting the big inning. That's what killed them in that very first game that got postponed and played a day later. That's what hurt them, eventually in the game that was completed that night. And, of course, that's what hurt them in that Mercy Rule game back at Povich. And so far, Sarich has done that exceptionally, only allowing 1 run.
Knipp slams one to short. Easy play for Oxer to fire its first in time for the first out. So another ground out. He's got that ground ball working today. And, yeah, just been stymieing the big train offense in every sense of the word. Trevor Doyle looking to change that.
Yeah, and when this big train offense really gets rolling, when the wheels get a chugging, it can be really dangerous for any opposing pitcher, no matter the stuff, no matter the sort of matchup nightmare they potentially possess. So it's just got to be about staying on top. And to their credit, the Silver Spring-Takoma offense has done a pretty good job as well, adding, not making it just one off every now and then, but also increasing that lead and getting a little extra run support for Joe Sarich.
Right, and Sarich is quickly 1-0 here to Doyle, who takes his strike. Half swing there, didn't go around, but still called the strike, and it's 1-1. On deck is Christian Martin, still looking for answers on Joe Sarich. Coming up empty thus far. 7 consecutive batters retired.
Lively crowd here at Blair Stadium.
There's a lot of people here as that's taken outside. Last batter to reach was Trevor Doyle on his double, so he'll hope to do that once more as he's 1 for 1 today with an RBI double. Doyle fouls it back, and it's quickly 2-2. A lot of contact made on Sarich, a lot of hard contact made on Sarich, but not finding the holes. It's been the story of the game thus far. High fastball taken, and the count runs full. Christian Martin due up next, and then in the hole.
And on Sarich,
Dylan
there haven't been many of these. There haven't been many full counts. Not a lot of counts work this deep. And that's something the big train order is going to have to do.
It's taken for ball 4, and there's the first base runner in 7 batters.
And the first walk issued by Sarich as well. And again, that goes to what I was saying. At this point, this is a guy who's thrown 8 innings this season coming into tonight. He's in his 5th tonight alone.
Nearly
and
doubling.
So, continuing to work that count, continuing to try and take pitches and make him work back into the zone, make him try to show off that command that hasn't necessarily been his strength this year, is something that Big Train is going to look to try to get themselves offensively back into this one.
Big Train need one more base runner to make this, or get the tying run to the plate.
And I don't know if they're necessarily worried about that.
No, they're not.
I think at this point they're just worried about getting Doyle home from first.
And getting Sarich out
and
of the
having
game.
this lead.
Christian Martin, first man to do that. That's up and in, ball 1.
And, to the point, I think there's a, sure, you'd love to knock him out of the game, but I think you'd love to make him work more, make him labor, and then, maybe you're facing a tired pitcher instead of a fresh arm coming out of the pen.
Fairly breezy evening here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. If you're just joining us, Big Train trail 4-1 here in the top of the 5th. Strength of a Connor Palmero home run and a couple of RBI singles. Joe Sarich has pitched beautifully through 4 1/3 as Martin hits one high and into foul territory. A long run for Cordell in left field. He hopes for a play, but that's out of play.
Down there with Craig Lopez, the bullpen coach.
It's Martin fighting off some good pitches here. Looking for a chance to break through. Has a couple hits to his ledger this season. 1 for 7. Just 1 hit.
1 RBI, though. A sacrifice, I believe.
He fouls another one off. And you know what this tells me is that he's pretty much all over Sarich right now, just trying to get one to find the hole, find the cracks, get through the seams.
Yeah, protecting well in this 2-strike count. And you don't always need to take balls to work the count.
That's up and in again, and it's 2-2. And this is turning into a pretty solid at-bat for Christian Martin, which you need against a guy that's been rolling like Joe Sarich has.
And a pretty solid inning as well. It's got to be at least up to 15 pitches so far between the 3 batters he's faced.
Martin laces one past the diving second baseman Orr, and that'll get Doyle over, and now the tying run is at the plate in the form of Dylan Hatfield. good piece of hitting from Christian Martin, just out of the reach of Orr at second base, and he has a second hit of the year.
Yeah, and again, a really nice turn at bat, as we said, for Martin. Worked the count, got a couple balls fouled to protect, and now is going to force a mound visit from Brock Hunter. And we'll see what happens with this pitching staff as Dylan Hatfield looks to turn the order over.
Right now, 4 1/3 for Joe Sarich, and we'll see if he is done. Certainly not handing the ball over. Maybe just telling him how to attack these guys, because Keith Torres is on deck, barring a double play. They do have some action in the bullpen. That's number 35.
Evan Lewis.
Evan Lewis, who we've seen quite often this year, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, and Big Train has had his number.
They have, and they'd be happy to see him come in the game. Because his last time out, he allowed just 1 run. Well, we saw Sarich in the earlier game, but last time these two teams faced, he allowed a run in 1 inning and 2/3. And has pitched a couple of other times this season against the Big Train. Been very common usage out of the bullpen. You know, of course, we've seen
Sarich was the guy that Hunter turned to end that very long first inning for the Big Train.
Hatfield stares at a strike, and it's 0-1. But yeah, Lewis, way back on June 16th, in 2/3 of an inning, allowed 4 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, walked 3, and struck out 1 and got the loss. So they'd love to see him
I believe he pitched in either the.
Hatfield is flailing at a curveball, and it's 0-2.
I'll have to double check, but I believe he pitched in the late innings of that one at Povich as well.
0-2 here. Hatfield looking to get a runner in and make this a closer game, but the 3-run lead is pretty ominous thus far for the Big Train as he hits one over the second baseman and into right field for a base hit. Stopping at third and loading the bases with nobody out as Trevor Doyle is. There's the first hit of the Big Train career for Dylan Hatfield, and it comes in a big spot.
Yeah, very timely base knock there for Hatfield to start off his account in a Big Train uniform, and a good, good awareness from Coach G and Trevor Doyle down there at third base.
And
you have Torres coming to bat.
Yeah, that's going to be it for Joe Sarich. He's through 4 plus, or 3 plus, excuse me. 4 plus, 4 plus.
And a third.
4 1/3, but 4 1/3 plus because he does have runners still on the bags. And that'll do it for Joe Sarich, who leaves to a standing ovation, but he's still responsible for the 3 runners on as Evan Lewis comes into the game. And we'll see what he's up to when we come back from break here on Big Train TV.
One in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy-Walker syndrome. Dandy-Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
A guy that the Big Train are no stranger to takes over on the mound. In fact, 3 of his 4 appearances this season have come against the Big Train. He's been rocked around a little bit. Has Evan Lewis, the new pitcher for
Popular guy there.
the Silver Spring as people come in and wave at me. Louisiana Tech sophomore from Severna Park, the righty. We'll see if the Big Train fare better on the righty. They were having a tough time picking up the stuff from, at least until now, from the lefty, Sarich. But he is done. He's still on the hook for 3 runners right now. And coming in to relieve him is Evan Lewis, and the first man to face him is the on-base machine, Keith Torres.
Yeah, Lewis, back and forth few outings against the Big Train. 4 games on the year, an 0-1 record, 10.8 ERA, 5 innings of work, 7 strikeouts, 6 walks, 5 hits allowed. That one loss did come against the Big Train, that 12-3 game in the second.
It's up and in. First pitch from Lewis.
The second game of that impromptu doubleheader forced by the rain delay of the first game way back on June the 8th.
I would say it's a game and a couple innings. Not really a game. 2 games, I guess. They had to finish the game as they head to extras. Lewis, of course, has worked.
And then called in on mop-up duty after Wesley Krieger couldn't find the strike zone in that 18-5 game that we've been talking about back at Povich. Is this one inside on
and 2-0
Torres, and it's 2-0. And so this has been the problem. It's been an interesting combination. It's either Krieger or Lewis who have both pitched in pretty much every game against the Big Train for Silver Spring-Takoma. The Louisiana Tech duo, and sometimes it's been Krieger mopping up Lewis's messy outings. Sometimes it's been Lewis's mopping up Krieger's messy outings as he finds the zone there outside.
Zips a strike in there. 2-1. First strike he's thrown. Out of his 3 pitches.
Does have some zip, some pop into the mitt.
3 consecutive base runners allowed by Sarich as Torres fouls it off, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, a little late on that one, little high, back to the right side. Would love to get around that. Torres has some very, like we said, an on-base machine, but he's been very timely with some base knocks and some RBIs as well.
And a double down the line could clear the bases here. Good speed on the base pass. Don't know how fast Hatfield is.
3 doubles, 6 RBIs for Torres.
Torres bounces one foul, and then they'll do it again on 2-2. But yeah, Doyle would score easily. The runner on second is Martin, and he can chug a little bit.
Hatfield's the question mark, right?
Yeah, we'll see how fast he moves.
We don't know what the scouting report on his speed is yet. Love to find out right
But,
here.
I mean, we didn't know what the scouting report was on Kemp Alderman's speed is, and we've seen him steal a couple of bases when he's been on base. 2-2 offering now to Torres once more. Here's the pitch. High, ball 3. So the bases are loaded, nowhere to put Torres, and it's a 3-ball count.
And what an eye from Keith Torres.
Takes a big, big inhale.
Infield working in a little bit straight away. Deepest man is Oxier at shortstop.
3-2 offering from Lewis. And he got him looking. Big strikeout for Lewis. Torres probably didn't agree with that. And there's 2 down. Big strikeout. And now Kyle Velasquez.
Tough take from Torres.
And this is an inning that you absolutely need to tack on some runs here.
Yeah, you can't leave the bases loaded here down by 3. You just chase the starter. Don't make it for nothing here. You got to take advantage in some way. And here's another guy that can lace a double down the line.
2 bags. Mr. 2 bags himself, Kyle Velasquez, could stroke one into the gap and
2 bag
tie this game up.
7 doubles.
Matt Thomas would be next. It's outside, ball 1.
And Thomas is not a guy you want to see here in this situation if you're Silver Spring-Takoma. He has not been, on as much of a tear as he was last week, as we said when he was named CRCBL Offensive Player of the Week. But, it's not the moment you want him to figure it all out suddenly.
Absolutely.
The league leader in home runs.
He's been in and out of the lineup recently. That's up high, ball 2. So Lewis losing the strike zone a little bit here, and if he walks in the run, Doyle would come home as the second run for the Big Train.
The same way he started out, Torres. Maybe he's Ty Lue out there on the mound. Doesn't mind getting behind 0-2 because he knows how to work back.
I couldn't speak on that experience. I know who Tyronn Lue is, but I don't know. The meaning behind that is here's the 2-0. Hit high into right field. Barnett going back onto the warning track. He settles under it and makes the catch to retire the side. So a big exhale as Joe Sarich comes out and pumps up Lewis. They get out of a bases-loaded jam here. No runners across. Big Train leave 3 stranded. They'll be back up for the bottom of the 5th here on Big Train TV. real friend of the intern, Zach Lockdown, comes into the game. Zach Lock looking to get in potentially 2 or 3 innings here and just hold the T-Bolts off the scoreboard. Here's the first pitch to Connor Palmera, who homered in the first inning, which stands as the difference today, is up and in, and dancing out of the way of that one is Palmera, and it's a 1-0. No one in existence has footsteps that loud, people. As Zach Locke, take a look at his stats here, been one of the most reliable arms out of the bullpen, 2.53 ERA. Gotten a bit lucky, though, on the mound. He's got a 293 batting average against, 10 2/3 innings, and he's struck out 12.
I think he was the one that prompted our Billy Wagner discussion a week or so ago. Definitely has the ability to work himself into a little bit of a jam, but also has the demonstrated ability. I mean, what a pitch that
was
is.
phenomenal.
Beautiful
breaking ball.
curveball. Started out all the way up and in on Palmera, dropping in straight over the plate. Perfect pitch there from Locke.
Now he's battled back to 1-2.
He has demonstrated ability to work himself right out of any jam,
absolutely.
as we've seen in this very field alone.
His fouls are backing out of play. He's got a good defense behind him, though, but despite first base being relatively new, Martin and Torres are as best as they come at second and short.
Yeah, I mean,
And
second
Pepe, too.
second base has to be the strongest position on this roster.
Right.
Because you have Martin, who's made some web gems so far tonight, really clean with the glove.
His curveball taken, and it's 2-2. Spits all over that.
Good pitch there. Palmera tempted by that. Started to kind of step towards it as if to reach outside and take a hack.
And Palmera's hack in the first inning was a line drive home run to give the Big Train a 2-0 deficit to claw back from. They got 1 run back in their half of the second, but still, that's the only run they scored today as they trail 4-1.
Yeah, Locke still going back to that outside pitch, trying to get Palmera to chase. Now we'll have to put something nice there at 3-2. As I was saying about second base, you've got, Velazquez and Gauthier, both very capable.
That ball's hit deep to center field. Going back is Thomas on the warning track at the wall. He makes the catch. A phenomenal running catch there for Matt Thomas. You can hang an exclamation point next to that one, as he had to run a country mile to get to that ball, but he got to it.
And speaking of web gems, Matt Thomas says hello with a Willie Mays-esque chase down
Over
in
the shoulder.
deep center field.
Over the shoulder. Willie Mays indeed. Deepest part of the ballpark as Tommy Dunleavy now stands in, and a big exclamation point can be put next to that catch from Thomas, who had to run all the way back to get to that ball. So allowed out number 1 for Zach Locke in his outing.
Might have to amend that previous statement. Center field's looking pretty good, too. I mean, we've already seen the defensive prowess with the leather that Riley Johnson, the speedy lefty out of East Carolina, brings. Matt Thomas showing off as well. And we know Jack Cohn, when he's out there, has a stone-cold cannon of a left arm as well.
Absolutely. Some good defense on this team. Haven't seen too many errors as it's taken for a strike, and it's 1-1. See Jake Eddington up in the bullpen. Don't think he'll get in this game, but never know. Maybe just getting some work in.
Bullpen session.
See, he's due to pitch, I believe, tomorrow or the next start. Foul back and 1-2. Tomorrow's scheduled starter is probably Eddington, I believe, or Guffey, one of those two. They've pretty much figured out the rotation here. They'll sauce Matt Bedford or Noah Carbajal in there a couple of times. It's quickly 1-2 here on Tommy Dunleavy, who tonight is 0 for 2, but he does have an RBI to his credit.
Bedford, by the way, listed as the probable for tomorrow night at Povich against DC.
And that'll be the last before a short break.
7 p.m. start time here on Big Train TV.
And then they'll have another big break in the middle of July, or the early parts of July, as that's delivered for a foul ball. 4th of July is off. Of course, they have that last game on July 3rd against Silver Spring. And then they have 2 days off, and then and then DC comes to town.
Exciting couple weeks in July there.
Towards the end, it'll be the All-Star game as well. 1-2. Breaking ball hit the short. Tough hop, but an easy catch there for Torres. He'll fire the long throw to first in time for the second out. He just makes it look so easy out there at short.
He really does. Smooth as creamy old peanut butter there.
Now, I got a question for you.
I got an answer for you.
Necessitated after that.
I'm a chunky guy.
Okay, yeah, I like chunky peanut butter.
Crunch.
Never go wrong with chunky peanut butter. We'll have to ask
Never
Dylan.
go wrong with smooth either.
Oh, no, yeah.
Like, I'm never going to sneeze on some chunk.
So here's Darren Miller. We'll have to see what Dylan Spilko's standpoint is on that.
Nice little warm tortilla, some peanut butter, a little bit of honey.
Ooh, I'll have to try that sometime.
Late night snack.
Right down the middle and hit high in the air, and it's a pop fly to center field. Can of corn. And to left as Doyle makes the play to retire the side. 1-2-3 opening inning for his effort for Zach Locke. He gets a couple of flyouts. And the Big Train head to bat here in the top of the 6th, down 3. Well, if you're looking to get back into a game, it's good to have Matt Thomas to lead off the inning here against Evan Lewis out for his second inning of work. Thomas still searching for his first hit of the game. 0 for 2 with a line out and a ground out as he takes the ball up high, and it's 1-0.
409 on the year.
And you'd love to send one 409 to dead center.
18 hits, 16 runs scored. And dropped out of the team lead in RBIs now with 17. One behind Hot Dog and Rocco Pepe.
Pepe, the batting average leader on the team at 431. Not far behind. A couple of hits will get him back into the lead for Matt Thomas as a strike pours in there from Lewis, and it's 1-2.
I can think of a way he could tie the lead right here.
Oh, yeah. That roof is still beckoning for someone to hit it.
Thomas has homered in this ballpark this year.
He has.
Not on that pitch, though.
It's up high, yeah. That spits all over that one. Hasn't homered too much at Povich. He's been a road warrior. I believe of his 4 home runs this year, 3 of them are on the road. Here's the pitch. Thomas fouls it off. And it's 2-2. Still. Thomas waiting for the offering here. Came off a week where he batted .600 and had a lower OBP than average as he tops that one to third. Here's Rice for the play, or Miller for the play, fires first in time for the first out. Just not finding holes tonight of the Big Train. They've been utterly silenced on offense, save for a couple of hits last inning. So here's Rocco Pepe, who has really not been a part of that.
Yeah, and this is really, an inning with Thomas, Pepe, and Alderman due up. We'll see if, Nip or Doyle gets to the bat here in the top of the sixth. But, these are the guys you're going to look to start something.
As that's up the middle and a base hit for Pepe. He
heard me.
continues to stay hot. Yeah, he was listening in to Big Train TV as he's aboard with his second single of the game. And the last time he was aboard, he came around to score.
Good omens.
So here's Kemp Alderman with a runner aboard.
Another guy who could tie the RBI lead with one swing of the bat.
Alderman fading down to 286. Hard to believe that 286 is fading, but he's 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a pop-out. He started off rollicking with the Big Train.
7 guys in double digits when it comes to RBIs.
So that almost gets away. Good stop there from the catcher Palmera, and it's a 1-0 count.
As we've been talking about, Alderman and Thomas neck and neck at 17. Pepe leading with 18. Gauthier and Sean Ewell right back there with 16 and 15 respectively. Velazquez and Cone each with even 10.
Alderman ropes that one. A nice diving stop by Miller. The long throw to first is not in time as it gets away. And rounding third and heading for the plate, here comes Pepe. And it's still being fished out. The throw goes to third, and Alderman's in there safely. Wow. Didn't think that could happen on that play, but took a long time to get to that ball, and a run comes in to score, and that's a run. They'll take that.
Absolutely. That's the kind of break that the Big Train has been looking for. Again, we've seen a couple really hard hit balls to Miller over there at third. He's been a vacuum so far at the hot corner, but they're just a little too anxious to get that one over from a fantastic backhand grab. And Alderman, again, a little bit of a slide for him offensively. That's probably going to be ruled a hit, but that's the sort of break he needs as he winds up 90 feet away from making this a one-run game.
So there's a strike in there to Grant Nip, but just a tremendous diving effort from the third baseman, Darren Miller, to make that play. And we'll have to see what it is scored. Probably a throwing error that allowed the run to score. Still an RBI for Kemp. So that's low. And it's 1-1. Very hard hit ball at third base. Miller did a great job to keep that in the infield and then fired to first a little bit low, one hopper that's in the dirt. And 2-1. Things may be unraveling a bit here for the T-Bulls. 2
things to touch on there on that play. First of all, we've talked already about the acreage of space foul territory here. Yeah, it's going to be a single for Alderman with a throwing error on the third baseman that allows Pepe to score from second.
First error we've seen today. So the E5.
There you go. But again, also the wheels of Kemp Alderman showed off there.
It's fouled back into the screen by Senor Nip. Full count now. The runner on third, just 90 feet away from making this a one-run ball game. Full count offering, and you're looking for a cookie here if you're Grant Nip. So he swings and misses in the dirt, and he'll chug down to first base, and the throw is in time. So a strikeout for Nip, and that'll bring up Trevor Doyle. 2-3 put out on the strikeout. Second strikeout of the game for Grant Nip. And here's Trevor Doyle again. Doyle has reached base both times, a double with an RBI and a walk. Looking to do that once more. Love for him to lean into one and send it caroming into the night in right field over that Collins banner. If he could poke one down the line, it's pretty easy to clear it.
Does have that RBI double back in the second to break open the scoring for the Big Train. His 6th of the year. Looking for number 7 right here with Alderman ready to motor on home.
If I recall correctly, that was the one that hit the top of the wall and came back in near Devin Barnett. See, he takes an ugly swing at that, and it's 0-2. Big Train do chase a run across in this inning regardless, so they get one back. Due up next is Christian Martin. We'll definitely see Zach Locke for another inning out there on the mound. He's been known to go 2 or more. Zach gets away. Alderman thought about coming home, but didn't get far enough to do that.
Yeah, that ball squirted from behind Palmera, but not even onto the grass there, as you saw pretty clearly Just stopped on that lip of the dirt behind home plate. Unlucky break there for the big train. Lucky break for Evan Lewis out there on the mound.
And new life. I mean, regardless, new life for Trevor Doyle, who would love to send a rope. Frozen rope. Name of the greatest backyard baseball team of all time, made by me and my dear friend Nick Hedrick. So there's a ball, and it's 2-2. I'll tell you what, Ernie Steele is very underrated. Man batted about .619 for us with 40 home runs. It's crazy. Still nearly lost as Doyle swings and misses strike 3, slams the bat in disgust as the big train do chase 1 run in, but that's all they get. They're down quietly, relatively, here in the 6th, and we'll have a word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back here on Big Train TV.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot, unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Nigel Calderon to lead off against Zach Luck in his second inning of work, something that he is no stranger to. Worked a pretty flawless inning first time out, gave up a loud out number 1, but gets a big swing and a miss from Calderon for the first strike.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the kind of juice that the big train needed. Their first 1-2-3 inning defensively of it, come back, answer with a couple nice timely back-to-back hits to have the lead, give themselves a little bit more momentum. All about Uncle Mo here rolling into the later innings.
Spins into the dirt. Mo Rivera.
Nope, different one.
Enter Sandman. He's not playing here.
Not yet.
I don't think they have that on their playlist. They've played Ring of Fire 7 times. Foul back by Calderon, and it's 1-2. So the big train trail 4-2 now as they scratch a run across in the top of the 6th. Zach Locke just looking to keep it close. Something he's been just so great at this season. Pitching behind, I think, for the first time this year, is Zach Locke. Usually relied upon when the big train are in the lead. That bounces into the mask of Dalen Hatfield and Karams behind home plate. Hatfield getting his first appearance of the season for Bethesda. Bethesda trails 4-2 once again here in the 6th. That's low, and it's full count. We've seen Locke work himself into full counts and then get out of them pretty promptly, but we'll see if he can do that here. Standing on deck is Brian Cordell, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Calderon as well as 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Here's the pitch from Locke. Payoff pitch. And that's ball 4. bit
That's
high.
That's the same location that Keith Torres was put out looking on.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Inconsistency in the strike zone we've seen several times this year, but the double play is in order for Brian Cordell, who grounded out his last time up. I think Zach Locke would take that. Have to see if Evan Lewis's night is done. He's come in and pitched pretty solid in relief, just allowed the 1 run.
Some throwing going on down there.
Got to think Locke goes 1 or 2 more innings. Most likely 1, because it gets a swing and a miss from Cordell on its own 1. Bethesda just trying to fight, scratch, claw, whatever you want to call it, back into this game. Tooth and nail. Runs have been at a premium tonight, just 6 apiece, or 6 total. Big Train did scratch 1 across last inning thanks to a RBI single and then a throwing error on the pitcher for Kemp Alderman, who definitely could use that. Was searching very hard for that ball to find a hole.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Big Train as a team needing that juice. Big 33 out of Ole Miss. Need that juice as an individual as well.
There's a high C, a curveball. He bends in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. To Brian Cordell. Cordell made a couple of running catches on the warning track earlier that put some salt in the wound of the Big Train.
Yeah, both he and the guy on deck, Barnett,
Cordell fouls one out of play.
have been very good defensively in the corners.
Yeah, Cordell.
This is interesting. You got all 3 outfielders here, 6, 7, 8, center field, left field, right field.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We've seen that from several teams this year.
I think there was one team that had like center field, left field, right field leading off the lineup.
Good pickoff there from Locke, but Calderon not moving. Yeah, he does it so quickly.
Yeah, he's got a good step.
He's just been pretty solid this year altogether. He's been one of the more reliable arms out of the pen and looking to get out of this inning and keep it a 4-2 game.
And that's exactly what Zach Locke was looking for out of this experience here with the Big Trainers.
Calderon with a pop throw, and it goes into center field. I'm not too sure why Dylan Hatfield decided to throw that ball. That'll be an E2 for him, I think.
Yeah, Calderon dancing off first. He's got some speed as well. I think Hatfield just trying to make sure he stayed there. But neither of the middle infielders coming over to cover as Calderon retreated back to the first base bag.
Let's foul back again, and it's still 2-2. See who's up next. I think Jack Cohn is stretching in the bullpen. We'll see if he's the guy for the 7th, and Hatfield will go out there to talk to Locke. You're going to get a whole lot of Dylan Spilko there down the line, though.
A lot of light pole as well. Trying to use the advanced zoom. See what we can see down there in the left field bullpen. Devin Barnett solidly blocking my view of the Silver Spring-Takoma warm-up area.
Crushed into left field down the line. Long run for Doyle into foul territory, but not able to get there. And they'll do it again.
Yeah, ran out of room pretty quickly, but Doyle had a ways to go to get even close to that one.
Strokes one just out of play.
Dylan looks a little tired down there. Give him a yawn.
Dylan Spilko is a hard-working man, and he'll be working even harder on Tuesday.
Why is that?
We'll let them figure it out on Tuesday.
See Cooper Ron's up and walking about.
Breaking ball is just outside, and the count runs full. A good pitch. Calderon still stands on second. Double play no longer in order. Potentially a line drive double play like we saw Rocco Pepe line into yesterday. There goes Calderon, and it's ball 4, so he's not moving anywhere with Hatfield ready to throw. So double play back in order. Consecutive walks for Zach Locke.
Yeah, obviously not the exact scenario he wanted to be in with back-to-back 3-2 counts to start off this inning. And now he's going to have to, as we talked about a little bit before, work himself out of this one. Still with no outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Trying to earn his escape artist badge. I think the best example of that in today's game is Rich Hill. Rich Hill is just tremendous at working out of jams. First pitch. It's outside. It gets away. Both runners nearly went, but didn't get far enough away from Hatfield to warrant that. He's been moving relatively slowly here on the offensive side. Pitching coach will go out to talk to Zach Locke.
Yeah, I think it's the right call from Craig Lopez. You know, Locke has been good with the break. He's been getting the break he wanted. They're not hanging or anything. They're just slightly missing the spot, especially outside a ball or two off the plate.
And we'll see what the memo is here for Zach Locke to try to get out of this jam. Coach comes out to talk to Devin Barnett. Brock Hunter, just making sure everything's all good with him. Not Corey all good, though.
It's all good.
It's a long mound visit here, and home plate umpire Eric Lawton Schleger will go out to talk to him.
Just feeling left out a little bit.
It's like, hey guys, what's the party at? Where's the party at? Why don't you guys invite me? No, he's just telling him to wrap it up.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
I do know that reference. That's into the hockey vernacular by now. Barnett squaring to bunt here.
All the way
in.
up is Grant Knipp.
And he does get it down. He'll get both runners over. But Pepe, and there's no play. Grant Knipp did not know where to go with that as Martin didn't cover in first base. And everybody is safe. And they'll likely draw the infield in here in hopes of getting the runner at the plate or turning a double play.
With bases loaded, coming up to bat is the second baseman, number 18.
Oh, thanks for letting me know the bases were loaded, PA guy. I did not know that. Bases juice, ducks on the pond. Here for Jacob Orr, who is 1 for 2. Goes around there as a strike one. Locke has been in this situation before. In fact, the last time he pitched in Silver Spring, he got himself into a bases loaded, nobody out jam and got out of it. So looking to do once more here, but has to deal with Jacob Orr first. First pitch, or second pitch is low, and it's 1-1. Big Train will be back in action tomorrow night against the DC Grays back at Povich Field. Start time 6:30. So that's hit into the gap. That's pretty deep. Going back is the right fielder. And he dropped the ball. Kemp Alderman couldn't make the play, and everybody will move up a base as a runner comes in to score Calderon. Alderman had that ball lined up and just popped off of his glove. And that's likely going to be an error on Alderman. 5-2.
Brings up the leadoff hitter for the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, number 2, the shortstop, Dylan Oxair.
Still an Oxford up now. Kemp Alderman did not make the play on that. We'll see what they score it. 5-2 the score, and things looking all the more troubling here on the mound. Or gave that one a ride. Sets up outside and is there, but it's 1-0.
Yeah, good piece of contact there from Orr, and just a slight misplay by Alderman in right field. Back-to-back defensive snafus from the Big Train.
Big Train have won 6 in a row and 9 of their last 10. So that ball pours in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. So that's going to be a sacrifice fly and E9. That happens. That's happened. I recall when the Mets actually had 3 sacrifice flies in one inning back in 2005, which hadn't happened in a long time. That exact play happened. Bernie Williams dropped a fly ball in right field. So I don't know if he gets the RBI on that one.
I think he does because it's a sacrifice.
This thing's backed into a corner here, and it's 3-1 now. Zach Locke all of a sudden is just not finding his spots. Would love a ground ball here with a drawn-in infield. Turn 2 with the defensive Wizards up the middle. Chopped foul, and it's 3-2. Oxier staying on top of that one. The Maryland Eastern Shore. Coach Sal Colangelo just hoping that his normally trusty bullpen piece can get out of this sticky situation. No outs recorded. Alderman and Nip were both inches away from getting one. So Locke has gotten 2 outs in this inning. They just haven't come. They won't show on the scoreboard. Swing and a miss, strike 3. There's a big first out as Oxier's down swinging, and that'll bring up Stephen Rice again with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I'll do it myself, says Zach Locke. Gets the swing and miss there for a big first out in this inning. And now a double play gets you out of it without any further damage.
Yeah, and if you're the Big Train, you'll take 1 run here. Don't want to take any more wind out of the sails already. Sarich started really well, 4 1/3 beautiful innings as there's a strike in there, and it's 0-1. Locke finding that second gear here on the mound. Has had to work pretty hard in this inning. Due up next, Connor Palmera, barring a double play, who homered way back in the first inning. Back when it was lighter out. There's a breaking ball in there. Beautiful pitch, and it's 0-2. Wiffle ball action on that curveball. As Rice hits one high to right field, Alderman back at the warning track makes the catch. A runner will come in to score. Makes the play there. The throw comes in to third, is cut off by Torres. So a sacrifice fly for Stephen Rice as he gave that one a ride. Alderman made the play there, and it's 6-2 T-Bolts.
Number 33, catcher, Connor Palmyra.
Yeah, runners on the corners now. Double play no longer needed with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. As again, just looking to put a tourniquet on this inning as best he can is Zach Locke.
And 2 runs is also fine. They'll take 2, but anything more than that is going to be a big ask for this offense to come back. It is high-powered, but you never know with this team.
You don't want to ask too much.
Right, as it's low. I mean, due up next for the Big Train is Martin, Hatfield, and Torres. And wouldn't Torres love to get some payback? Due up in that inning. Good pickoff move there. Not going as the runner on first base. Jacob Orr. Stephen Rice, of course, smacked that ball into right field. And Alderman made the play, tracked that one down. But I want to go back to his error. It was a tough play for him, regardless. It was a weird angle.
Weird angle, backtracking a little bit, and then having to work back a little bit to his right. That ball had some nifty cut on it.
And maybe not the route that Alderman probably would have wanted to take to that ball. It's 1-1 here to Connor Palmera.
But again, not his position of most experience either.
Palmera hits another one to center field. Going back is Thomas onto the warning track. He's at the wall, and it's off the wall and in play. And rounding third and heading to the plate is Orr. He's going to come in to score. The throw gets away. It's an RBI double for Palmera, and it's a 7-2 ball game. And some thunderous roars from the crowd. Some deep fly balls given up this inning by Zach Locke, who is just not the normal dominant self he is.
Now batting for the Thunderbolts, number 39, the first baseman, Tommy Dunleavy.
So Tommy Dunleavy is now up, and it's been a nightmarish inning, but 3 runs, all in to score, 7-2. 5-run deficit is not out of the question for this offense, but it's going to be tough. Runner on second with 2 outs for Dunleavy. Breaking ball outside, and it's a 1-0 count. Big Train, if this lead holds, would fall to 14-3. So they're not too worried about 1 loss. But Coach Sal plays to win as Dunleavy sends one to left field. That is way back, and that ball is gone. Goodbye for Tommy Dunleavy, who puts the icing on the cake and makes it a 9-2 game here in the 6th. That ball got up. And Dunleavy continues to torment the Big Train.
Hit pretty much to the same spot where Connor Palmera went deep, and After Palmera answers with a big 2 RBI double, Tommy Dunleavy clears the bases.
That's going to be it for Zach Locke, who was uncharacteristically poor outing for him in this one. 5 runs across the score as they now lead at 9-2. Or 10-2, I guess. Another run came in to score. I don't remember when, but things all came raining down here on Zach Locke. And that's going to be it for him on the mound. They'll get a different pitcher in, and it's going to be Jack Cohn to try to put the end to this nightmarish inning. Jack Cohn on the pitch here, down 8 runs, as the Big Train have been stymied all night and things are not getting any easier. Zach Locke comes in and surrenders 6 runs, capped off by the home run by Tommy Dunleavy. Looking to get out of this inning and just put the inning to an end is Jack Cohn, as the ball here to Darren Miller. And they've batted through in this inning. This is the first time, I think this is the first or second time any team has done that against the Big Train. Uncharacteristically bad pitching, and it's quickly 2-0 from Jack Cohn.
Yeah, Cohn looking to settle in. Had a rough night last time out on the mound. A chance to erase all that here.
3-0.
Maybe just forcing it a little bit to start.
See if Miller has the green light. I don't know why he would in this situation, but things went uncharacteristically poorly. There's a strike in there, and it's 3-1. Uncharacteristically poorly for Zach Locke on the mound. 6 runs. I don't know if all of them are earned, but at least 5 of them are earned.
Yeah, I think five earned.
There's a strike, and it's a full count. And it all started because of a error on Dylan Hatfield, who threw surprisingly to second base. And when no one was moving, just an interesting play. It's fouled back. Staying alive is Darren Miller. Things not getting any easier from this point forward. 8-run lead, but we've seen the Big Train score more than 8 runs in an inning against Silver Spring. Put up 9. It's outside ball 4, and Miller is aboard. So this inning thus far, way back when, Nigel Calderon led off with a walk, then another walk, a single, sacrifice error on a sacrifice fly, and an error on Kemp Alderman and right, and that was the biggest part. He's not making that catch. They could have been out of this inning with 2 outs. But instead, the home run, and that's really how it happens sometimes. There's a strike from Cone, delivers it, and it's 0-1. And then a strikeout, a sacrifice fly to get in a run, and then a double, a home run, and a walk. Here we are. So Nigel Calderon bats for the second time this inning. 10-2, T-Bolt's lead.
I was going to say he led off by reaching on a walk, and that's a good breaking ball in there from Cone,
Yeah,
trying
not
to find
sure
the zone again.
where that missed.
Maybe a little inside, if anything, but
It's 1-1. Big swing and a miss there from Calderon, and there's 2 strikes. 1-2. Cone just trying to finish this inning off without further damage. Here's the pitch. Long hold, delivers. Ball 2.
a little low there, but good effort. Again, you know, when you have that 1-2 count, you want to try to get the batter potentially to chase. Not a bad try. You can afford a ball there. Now you got to come right back at him.
Breaking ball in there. Got him looking, and Calderon is retired, but not after 6 runs come across to score as the Big Train are down big heading into their half of the 7th inning. J.P. Nolan, number 31, takes over on the mound with an 8-run lead out of East Stroudsburg University. He'll take on Christian Martin. So they've just called him Christian McCaffrey Martin. So he gets a strike in there, and it's 0-1. Big Train utterly silenced through 6 innings. We'll see if the later innings have anything different here, but
It's been magic for him sometimes, but they'll need it. Pull it out here in the
they'd love to see Wesley Krager come in and pitch.
late innings of this one. And this is an interesting, position for Brock Hunter because you can, empty your bullpen a little bit more than you normally would get a chance to against this team, but you also don't want to let them anywhere near sniffing a way back into this as they trail by 8. For Nolan on the year, 4 appearances, 5 1/3 innings of work, 7 runs, just 2 of them earned. 6 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts.
First time we've seen him.
record, 3.37 ERA.
And it's 3-1 now to Christian Martin, who, if he gets on, paved the way for Dylan Hatfield, who made a surprising throw to second base that went into center field and allowed Calderon to get to second. Just a bullet point, another bullet point in that nightmarish 6th inning. And that's high ball 4, and things are getting underway here as Christian Martin's aboard for the 2nd time.
You got to start it somehow.
Right. It's bloop and blast proof, obviously, with an 8-run lead, but Dylan Hatfield would love to make up for it here with a base hit. So all told, Zach Locke pitched an inning and 2/3 and allowed 6 runs. Just a tough outing for him. Never want to see that happen, especially to a guy that we've been very friendly with this year. So that is a strike from Nolan, and it's 0-1. And knowing Zach, he'll be back. I mean, bad outings come and just all the time. It happens to anybody.
3 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned by my math. 3 walks and 2 Ks.
Bounce to third, could be 2. To second for 1. Relay to first base in time for the 5-6-3 double play. 5-4-3 double play. And erased is that leadoff base runner.
Now batting with the big train, the leadoff hitter, number 9, shortstop Keith Torres.
Keith Torres, the order turns over. Just looking to get something started, 0 for 3. Could really use a knock here.
But tough day for Torres after a couple nice outings in the last few games.
Takes one right down Broadway for strike 1.
Believe in his last 2 appearances, had the day off the other night against DC, against Gaithersburg. But going all the way back to
Torres hits one high and deep and throws the bat down in disgust as Barnett waves off the second baseman Orr, and he makes the play to retire the side. Or Torres not happy with himself after leadoff base runner erased by a double play and a fly out. And the big trainer down quietly here in the 7th. Brian Cordell, the leadoff hitter against Jack Cohn. I am not sure why music played there.
I have an idea.
Cordell is 0 for 2. He walked his last time up and came around to score. Part of that 6-run inning. Strike from Cohn, and it's 1-1. It's been an uncharacteristically poor night for the big train on all senses. A lot of defensive misjudgments, I guess, and some timely hits for the T-Bolts have made this an 8-run lead, and it's 10-2.
Yeah, it's been a slog. I think there's no disguising that. But, you know, you do have to focus on the fact that there's still a bit of baseball to play here. You know, bottom of the 7th.
As a good breaking ball by Cohn gets
nice
Cordell to swing and miss. And there's the first out.
Yeah, I think Jack Cohn needed that. Obviously, got the strikeout on Calderon to end the 6th. But, you know, the whole team needs a little bit of a pick-me-up right now, and I think a 1-2-3 inning would really do wonders.
Do wonders for that Mo.
Exactly. There's still at least 12 outs, possibly 15. I don't know. I can't do math.
It's 6, as we're in the 7th inning, Ben.
Yeah. 6 outs in the 8th. 3 outs at least in the top of the 9th. That's 12. Well, now 11.
Oh,
I'm talking
you're
total
talking
in
both.
the game.
Okay, total,
I'm
yeah.
Total, yeah. I can see where I confused you because that's where I confused myself.
1-1 here to Devin Barnett.
I'm just saying there's still, you know, hacks to be taken.
Who, after
Still pitches to be made, still plays to be executed, and they just got to try to remain focused as much as possible.
he came into tonight batting 105. There's another spinner in there. And then he's 2 for 2 with a walk tonight and came around to score both times he singled. So it's been a very good night for Devin Barnett.
Yeah, and some really nice plays in right field as well, as we've mentioned.
Bidding for player of the game, but after that, swings and misses, strike 3 and back-to-back strikeouts for Jack Cohn. That's 3 in a row.
Anyone from the T-Bolts bidding for a player of the game is going to have a tough hill to climb with the way Connor Palmera's
Yeah.
hit.
Connor Palmera.
2 for 4 with, or I guess 2 for 3 with a homer, a double, 4 RBIs, and a sacrifice.
And that flyout he nearly hit for an extra base hit as well. So he's just
And he hit. I meant to note it when he hit the home run or when he hit the double last inning, but he took that to the exact opposite alley where he hit the home run. Of course, Tommy Dunleavy hit his 2-run shot to basically the same
Cohn has
spot.
just been, by the way, Cohn has just been untouchable this inning. 2 quick strikes here on Jacob Orr, who reached on a sacrifice fly error last time. This fouls back.
Have not seen that.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a sacrifice fly error. It happens less frequently than you'd think, but it still goes as a sacrifice fly because it is a fly ball, and errors are technically outs. As that's inside and hits, did it hit or nearly hit him? As he's, I guess not.
I thought that hit the back of Dylan Hatfield's mitt, or pointing, saying that got me on the hip, but Eric Lautenschlager said, no, it didn't.
And
Get
there
back in
will
the box.
probably be some complaints if he strikes out here. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and he held it. Hatfield did, and there is the side. So a real strikeout this side for Jack Cohn. 3 consecutive swinging strikeouts. Big Train need to put their rally caps on as they head up here in the top of the 8th. Well, if the Big Train are going to try to get back in this game, it's going to be pretty tough as their old friend Kieran Garner's out there on the mound. And the first pitch is high ball 1 to Kyle Velazquez. Of course, Kieran Garner pitched a couple of beautiful innings for the T-Bolts against the Big Train in the past. And this year, he's been pretty good. 3.27 ERA is second on T-Bolt staff. That's outside. First strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeoman of this Silver Spring-Takoma bullpen. 4 appearances, 11 innings of work, 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 13 strikeouts, and 0, count them up, 0 bases on balls issued by Mr. Garner.
2-1 now.
3.27 ERA.
This is a good pitch from Garner to get the first strike on Kyle Velasquez.
He's got some wicked stuff.
Here's the pitch. Whoa.
That wasn't it.
That's not the strikeout pitch he was searching for there, and it might be 2-2 actually. It's 2-2 with Matt Thomas on deck. This is the meat of the order due up, so if they're going to get back in this game anyway, it has to be these guys tacking on. They did scratch a couple of runs across against Garner, but in 11 innings, he's been pretty spotless.
Well, it's going to be interesting, too, especially for the guy on deck.
There's a breaking ball, swung on a missed strike 3. That would have been ball 4, and Velasquez is retired for the 4th time.
So if we want to look back to June the 8th, second game of this regular season, 10-3 eventual final score. Of course, that game completed 8 days later on the 16th due to a rainout in the extra innings. But it was actually here in the 6th inning against the man on the mound, Kieran Gardner, that Matt Thomas had his first home run of the year.
Thomas would love another one of those, but it wouldn't chase any runs in.
Solo shot to right center field.
Just near that light tower and the 357 sign. 2-0. Not a lot of 3-ball counts for Kieran Garner this year. He has not walked a batter. Sparkling line. Been one of the better relievers on this team. As Thomas goes down on a swing and a miss there, and it's 2-1. And there's a couple of guys that are above 9 ERAs on this staff, and
a couple of guys above 15 as well.
Wes Krager and your pal James Springer, both above 15. As Thomas swings and misses, and it's 2-2.
Beautiful.
Big Train have just had no answer for T-Bolt's pitching tonight.
Yeah, beautiful breaking ball in the dirt there from Garner. You almost want to call it a drop ball. Head over to the softball vernacular.
Pat seemingly did not travel north from Alexandria. That's outside, and it's 3-2. And they were held in check relatively last night as well. Just 5 runs across.
Last 3 games now.
Yeah, it's been low-scoring affairs for the Big Train, who've maybe got all their run scoring out in the early parts of the season. Outside, got him looking. Strike 3. And Thomas is down and did not like that one. Thomas is jawing with home plate umpire Eric Lautenschlager, and he's going to have to be careful. It's just been a rough night for the Big Train on every sense of the word. And here's Rocco Pepe, who's had the best night. It's subjective, of course, of all the Big Train players. 2 for 3 with 2 singles. He's come around to score both times he's been on base. Breaking ball outside, and that's exactly where Matt Thomas was rung up. Thomas,
You kidding me, Thomas said? I have
exchanging,
to agree with.
exchanging pleasantries with Eric Lautenschlager as it's high in the infield. Coming over for a play is the third baseman Miller. He's under it and makes the catch to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Kieran Garner. The Big Trainer held in check once more. Jack Cohn on for another inning of work, and he'll deal with the leadoff hitter, Dylan Oxier.
Shortstop and leadoff hitter number 2.
As the Big Train trail big, 10-2, and they've just been held in check all night long. We've had no answer for any of the T-Bolts pitching, and it's been a rough night at the office.
Yeah, we'll see what Jack Cohn can do here, trying to limit this and get his bats back up quickly.
Of course,
4 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Looking for more of the same.
Oxier, 1 for 4 today with a couple of flyouts and a strikeout.
That's a beautiful pitch. Don't know where that one missed.
Yeah, that one was framed perfectly by Dylan Hatfield. Not a night to write home about. Laced into the gap, that's going to get, or split it maybe, but Thomas over to make the play for the first out. Matt Thomas, of course, rung up in a questionable call last inning. Another F8 for Dylan Oxier. Now, Ben, I want to know your honest thoughts on those green tea mints. I want to know your honest thoughts on those green tea mints.
That's what we're doing to fill time. We're not going to go out of the scoreboard or anything. We're going to.
I mean, we can
ask
go to
about
the
mints in my minivan.
we can go to out of town scoreboard after this batter, but I gotta know.
It just was not a good combination. I like green tea. I can survive mint. Don't like the two of them together.
Pretty intense flavoring.
Yeah.
So there's a strike from Cohn as the dust flies off the mitt.
DC Grays up 9-4 in Washington over South County. Gaithersburg up.
Gaithersburg, if they win, would get a game.
Finished.
Oh,
They
good bender.
finished to jump over Alexandria in the standings, and then I guess earlier today, Silver Spring-Takoma finished off a earlier suspended game against Alexandria, so they're playing a couple extra today. Maybe that would explain it. Maybe they just got a little more warm-ups in.
Yeah, they fly.
6-4 that final score. 8-3 Gaithersburg over Alexandria final.
Yeah, they were already playing today, I guess.
Again, DC 9, South County 4 in the top of the 8th.
Gaithersburg would gain a game on the Big Train if they gain a game of their 5 games back on the Big Train if they win, or since they have won and if the score holds. Gaithersburg down in Gaithersburg today. Breaking ball and just fouled off by Stephen Rice. Cohn, the last potential pitcher for the Big Train, barring a monumental comeback in the top of the 9th. Due up for the Big Train. They're due to send up Alderman, Nip, and Doyle. Guys that have had 3 hits or 3 times on base spread amongst them. But it's been a...
Gaithersburg with a 2-game lead on Alexandria now.
So there's a breaking ball in there. Got him looking, and he is retired. Another strikeout for Jack Cohn, his 5th in relief. And that'll bring up Connor Palmiera. And last call for concessions. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, says concessions.
I could go for a cheeseburger.
Well, you may as well because it's closing time. Connor Palmiera's had a nice night at the dish. 2 for 3, I guess, technically, with 3 RBI and a home run in the first inning that set the tone for the rest of the game.
And so, hearkening back to the standings for a second, Silver Spring-Takoma, with a win here, would have moved out of the cellar. They stand at 4-10, except the team they were tied with at the bottom of the league, DC, also looks set to put a W in the column to move to 5-10 as well.
Yeah, it was a good breaking ball from Jack Cohn in there from Palmiera.
Both teams 2-8 entering tonight in their last 10. DC and Silver
He
Spring.
swings and misses at a pitch that completely misses.
Missed everything there. The bat, the catcher, the umpire.
Maybe trying to get another RBI tonight.
Not the backstop, though. Did
Not the
miss that.
backstop. Watch out.
4.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit high.
So we, again, settled towards another short game. Moved pretty quickly. Fouled off. Good catch by Tommy Dunleavy on the on-deck circle.
Oh, nearly took the bat boy out.
Gets a gaping mouth from Darren Miller, the in-the-hole hitter.
Cubs and Dodgers tied at 2 in Chavez Ravine, top of the 7th.
As Palmera sends a mountain of a shot way up there, and Torres is under it, and he'll make the catch. Ooh, drifted on him a little bit, but that retires aside. 1-2-3 inning again for Jack Cohn. As the Big Train get out of it here, but they have a tough hill to climb as they head to the bottom of the 9th, or top of the 9th. And it looks like Jacob Orr is going to take over on the mound when we come back here on Big Train TV. Kemp Alderman will lead off against Sean Culkin, the new pitcher. Culkin had a rough outing against the Big Train his last time out, and then sat next to us for a game.
Yeah, came to hang out with the rest of the under the bleacher bums.
A mere hour after you were not or making fun of him and dunking on him. He said he couldn't hear us, though. So that's the good thing about it. So that's high ball, too.
He acknowledged it. Tough play for him. Back-to-back plays. I think it was like coming up to field a bunt. Similar play to what
just had a brain
Nip
cramp.
got caught in.
Just had a brain cramp and didn't know where to throw it. So that's outside 3-0. But we were talking about another defensive play by a pitcher, and it said that was tough to come out to your left, and then he looked at us and nodded, hearkening back to his tough play.
I think he was picking up what I was putting down. Put it like that.
3-0, Alderman does not have the green light, and that's way outside in ball 4.
Culkin, a little bit of a side armor. The Big Train, you got to start somewhere. They start right there with a base on balls. To Kemp Alderman here in the top of the 9th. Last licks on this one.
That'll bring up Grant Nip. They call him Grant. There's a strike in there, and it's 0-1 after 4 consecutive balls to walk Alderman. Alderman aboard for the second time today, reached on a single, and then a throwing error got him all the way to third. Breaks his bat and fouls it off. Thought that was up, but it was actually out.
Grant Nip has not been kind
Grant Nip
to the lumber.
is a tree killer. And he'll get somebody else's bat.
Torres flexing that one a little bit. Still some integrity left in that piece of lumber.
That'll head to the broken bat wall.
Hefty collection in general manager, wearer of many hats, Chris Rogers.
So he bounces one down the third base side. Nice sliding stop by the third baseman. And it doesn't get, and it gets away. And
similar play much?
yeah, I think there's is that a new third baseman? I don't think Miller's at third base.
It is a different third baseman, but still.
Oh no, that is still
Oh, it
Darren
is
Miller.
Miller.
Made a sliding stop, but I believe that's going to go as an error. We'll see how they score it. Alderman all the way to third. Some tough defense for Sean Colkin in his outings. So now Trevor Doyle. It's a big train. Again, Grant Knipp reaches on the something. We'll figure it out in a second.
He reaches.
Reaches. Doyle takes one right down the middle, and it's 0-1.
Single.
Single, straight up, and then I guess an error on the third baseman that allowed.
Yes, that allowed Alderman
to
to get to third.
So there's the ball outside, and it's 1-1.
Second time Alderman has advanced on the error.
And this is how their innings usually start.
Runners on the corners, nobody out. Doyle just looking to move the line.
Doyle takes a big cut and a miss, and it's 1-2. On deck, of course, is Christian Martin, who's had a pretty nice night. Singled and walked and grounded out. And then Dylan Hatfield in the hole. We'll see if he is coming up or see if there's a pinch hitter. Coach Sal not using his bench at all tonight. Outside, and it's 2-1 or 2-2.
Couple of interesting names potentially available off the bench. Darius Foster, Nolan Shanuel, Brady Gump, Austin Gauthier, Danny Nerai potentially.
Love any of those guys to come up in the situation, and the most likely one probably Nerai in case the game goes. As Doyle hits one towards the hole, that's going to get past the outstretched glove of the shortstop, Oxier. And in to score is Kemp Alderman on the RBI single by Mr. Trevor Doyle, who has his second RBI of the night.
Yeah, nice piece of hit in there from Doyle going the other way as the lefty batter. And he has been, really coming on offensively. Obviously a guy I think valued a little bit more for his glove than his bat. But in the last few games, he has done it both. And been a really nice linchpin there in the 7-hole.
So he's 10-3, and yeah, Coach Sal loves him out there and shows why. With an RBI single and placed perfectly past the outstretched glove of Oxier.
I want to double check this, but I believe it is his first multi-RBI game this year.
Most likely. So big train runs have come from almost everywhere. Spread it pretty thin. Or spread it pretty evenly.
No, 15-3 game against the Braves. He had 2 as well. So ties his season high.
Doyle been a welcome part to this offense ever since he was one of the late arrivals with Sac State, but been everything that is advertised as Martin hits one high into center field, a long run for the center fielder Calderon, but the left fielder Cordell makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Big F7 on the scorecard, and that brings up Dylan Hatfield.
Yeah, Hatfield looking to turn his night around here.
Yeah, in his first outing, it's been all right for him. He hasn't really shown his potential, but there's room for that here with 2 runners on and 1 out. Outside ball 1.
Doyle in that game on the June the 14th down in South County.
Only time we've been down there, and let me tell you.
2 for 4, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a hit by pitch,
He fouls
and a run
back.
scored. Tonight,
Big Train losing 10-3 here as we are in the top of the 9th. Rally time. Do they have a rally in their bones? It's inside, and it's 2-0. Now to Hatfield. It's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. Net swaying in the breeze behind home plate, but it's 2-1, or 2-2 actually. So that's in there, strike 3 called, and Hatfield has just had a horrendous night. I mean, for him, just trying to get into the lineup really good, just right away, getting his first start, and, struggled a little bit, to say the least.
yeah, he'll just look to shake this one off and bounce back. Always good to
Right.
get some experience, try to swing the bat a little bit.
So 2 outs now for Keith Torres. That's inside ball 1. And Hatfield did get a single, though, earlier, and it was well struck. And it's just been, after that, it's just been a rough night for him. Double play, strikeout looking, throwing error, not line to write home about as Torres takes the ball and it's 2-0. If he gets on, it would load the bases for Kyle Velasquez. Claps begin here at Blair Stadium. Of course, stay tuned for a couple minutes after the final pitch is thrown for Big Train postgame. As there's a strike defense in there, and it's 2-1. Big crowd on hand here tonight at Montgomery Blair Stadium. One of the largest road crowds we've seen all year. Inside, 3-1. Big Train chase a run across in this inning, make it 10-3. First appearances for Dylan Hatfield. Calicamas, that's blooped over short and right into the mitt of Dylan Oxier to end the ball game. Big Train fall 10-3. They are now 14-3 on the season, and out of the cellar are the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts. They win their 5th of the season and move to 5-10. Big Train fall for just the 3rd time, and they're now 8-2 in their last 10. And they fall in this one 10-3. It was a big offensive night for Connor Palmera, who charged the ball in the first inning and set the tone for the rest of the night. Ben, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's tough as Keith Torres taking his frustrations out on that bat there. It's just, you got to take your licks sometimes. And, you know, for Big Train, obviously they've been on a roll, 9-1 in the last 10 coming into this one. They got to bounce back from this like they bounced back from the last 2 losses. You just got to come together and figure out what went wrong and try to not do that again moving forward. And they're going to have a good opportunity back at home tomorrow night against DC.
Yeah, tomorrow's a new day, as they always say, but the Big Train fall in this one 10-3. Stay tuned in just a moment for Big Train postgame here on Big Train TV.
We say good evening to you once again from underneath Blair Stadium here in Silver Spring, Maryland for Big Train postgame. Final score presented by Bethesda Magazine for the Big Train: 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, 7 runners left on base. For the Silver Spring-Takoma T-Bolts, 10 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, 5 runners left on base. Evan Lewis is the winning pitcher. Luke Baker is the loser for the Big Train. 7:04 start time, 9:49 finish, 2 hours and 45 minutes of game time tonight on this 85 degrees cloudy night. And Tyler Gallo here for Big Train TV alongside myself, Ben Bobek. Your instant reactions to this disappointing night for the Big Train?
Well, they got off to a tough start and then just never looked back. I mean, the T-Bolts got off to a strong start and never looked back, and Connor Palmera rode the hot bat of him tonight, just spraying balls all over the diamond.
And this seemed like almost a Big Train game plan, really, for Silver Spring-Takoma offensively. 2 here, 2 there, 1 here, 1 there, and then that one big inning in the bottom of the sixth, 6 in that frame to really break things open and put some distance between themselves and Bethesda.
Yeah, a lot of hits in that frame and just an explosion on offensive side. Those 6 runs would have stood as the difference regardless of if they happened or not, because it would have been a 4-3 game if they did not happen. And unfortunately for the Big Train, they did. And sometimes you'll have these tough games, and it's all about how you bounce back the next day.
Biggest takeaway for the Big Train out of this one, what's the biggest thing they should look to improve upon come tomorrow night hosting DC?
I just think they need to make sure these defensive lapses don't happen again, because today it was a very uncharacteristically poor defensive night for them. Made some brain cramps and just things that you wouldn't see from them normally. Of course, they didn't roll over the team like they have in the past. So I think that if they iron those out, they'll be fine come tomorrow night.
On the positive note, how about Jack Cohn pitching 2 1/3 really solid innings to close things out for the Big Train out of the bullpen?
Yeah, it was a welcome sight after he struggled in Gaithersburg, and he really just came in and shoved, and that's exactly what you want to see from him after, he started earlier on in the year, and it's just his 4th or 3rd appearance of the year, comes in and gets a lot of strikeouts in a short amount of time.
Connor Palmera, the player of the game for Silver Spring-Takoma?
I would say so, but it also goes without mentioning that, or goes with mentioning Joe Sarich had a pretty solid start to tonight's game. Really stymied the Big Train offense in all facets of the game and couldn't really come from behind from that.
Started things off really well for Silver Spring pitching-wise.
Yes, and after coming out of the bullpen, that's actually what you want to see coming off the mound.
Any final thoughts on this one before we wrap things up here on Big Train Post?
Well, I think the Thunderbolts struck down here tonight and took out the Big Train after, I said that they would win earlier today, but I was wrong. And I was proven wrong tremendously in this game as they lost 10-3. They're the biggest deficit of the season. But I think tomorrow night they'll come back even stronger and look to put this one in the rearview mirror against the DC Grays.
Absolutely. They'll look to do just that. As you said, 7 p.m. start time, despite the typo you may have seen throughout the game. Not 6:30, 7 p.m. tomorrow night from Povich Field, right here on Big Train TV with him, Tyler Gallo, and myself, Ben Bobek. Thank you for tuning in wherever you may be. Aloha, good night, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We'll see you next time.